Check, check. Hey, got a few people here already. Hey, Real Cygnus, Mr. B, and Jordan Norgard. Let me running a little bit behind. Let me open. Oh, that's probably better. I have my mic turned down. That's better. All right. So, what we have today is yeah, just when you think they reached the rock bottom of dumb and dishonest, absolutely. So, they were joined, Flatzoid and his cult were joined by a guy named Scuba Drew. I can't find a channel. I found one channel with Scuba Drew, and it doesn't show anything. It's just basically two videos that have nothing to do with scuba diving. So, yeah. So anyway, let's watch.
Yo, Flurs, what's up? Good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad we could make it. Please hit the likes, share the show, let everybody know we are live. We are joined by Michael.
So my question to Flatzoid would be, he says that things fall down because of the density disequilibrium, right? There's it this thing, for instance, would displace air, right? It displaces the medium around it. That's why it falls, right? It displaces it. Well, how much volume is it displacing right now? Well, if we measure it, we get 51 millimeters by 62 millimeters. Echo, what is the volume of a cylinder that is 51 millimeters by 62 millimeters?
From sciencing.com. The volume is 282.78 cubic centimeters.
So 280, say 282. 282 cubic centimeters. Right? Okay. How much is it displacing now? What about now? How about now? How about now? Now how much is it displacing? The exact same fucking amount, right? So how could it's displacing the medium around it make it do anything?
Janusz, Jeff.
Hey, JD. Hey, Westside.
Roger, and special guest tonight, Drew, Scuba Drew, to be exact. Good to see you, man. It's his first live stream ever.
What glitch? I missed it.
So I feel honored to let him on. And I think we're having background noise somewhere.
I'm not hearing anything here.
No, I'm not.
Let's see. Oh, it's Roger again. I muted him. It's off now. Yeah, it's you, Roger.
Is that me?
Yeah.
No. Okay, hold on a second.
Anyway. Anyway, we got Drew on.
Is Roger in his bathroom?
I want to say thank you for coming, man. You say you have a few questions. You want to talk about like the Vendy race and the RDD and things, and then
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've been involved, not really involved, but I've been aware of the debate for several years. I had a friend a couple years ago that had said to me, he goes, "Hey, you know, the Earth is flat." And I was like, "What?" And I'd never even.
Yeah, that's funny. When they talk, it brings up an important point. When he says you put energy into it, right? Right. The energy is put into this, into me. I'm putting the energy. That's where the energy is being put in. It's being stored by me, not the object. You can't put energy into an inanimate object.
And thought about. So I've been involved in the debate, but I'm not here to go over all the usual talking points and arguments. I've been watching it for years and nothing goes anywhere. So, but I do have questions because you seem to be someone that can articulate things a little better than most. So,
What? What? No, he can't. Drew, sorry.
when it comes to the RDD, it may sound elementary to start with, but I want to understand exactly what you guys think about the cause and effect in that sense. I know you like those words, cause and effect. But so basically, relative density disequilibrium.
So the first comment in his live chat was this.
If that's correct, right? And so what I'm
Hey, Zorg.
referring to is that what I'm getting the idea is that it's the relative or the difference between the densities relative to two particular masses or just items, whatever. It could be a medium that it's in and an object. I mean, when you think about relative density, it could be two objects next to each other that are relative to density with respect to each other. But in this case, it's the relative. It's the density difference between the object and the medium that it's in. Am I correct? And that's what you guys follow?
Yes, sure, but it's got to do with the displacement though, because even if you have density differences, let's say foam has a different density than, let's say, to a ping pong ball. Okay, you won't expect something to go through foam, but if you had to put a brick on foam, it could break and go through it. So
that's going to be you're.
So I got a question, Flatzoid. Let's say I've got foam. It's highly sensitive, right? It's highly sensitive to detect a 5-gram mass, right? Doesn't matter how big the mass is, just 5 grams. And I've got something that weighs 5 grams. Now, if I put that foam up at the top of the Empire State Building and I walk up the stairs with this thing, or take the escalator, and I put all that energy into it and I set it on that foam, will it dent the foam? I put all this downward energy into it, right? Will it dent the foam?
Getting into more things about
Of course it won't.
molecular bonding strength and stuff. So that's
Hey, George.
not really what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to get to the basic level of the understanding of it. That if an object is less dense than the medium it's in, it will create a disequilibrium that is what generates the force to make it move. Is that?
But how does the thing know that it is less dense than the medium around it? How does it know that? That's my question, right? A helium balloon goes up. A balloon with air in it doesn't. How does the medium around them know which is filled with helium and which is filled with air?
What I'm getting from you guys.
Yeah, it gives an unbalanced force, which
it creates an unbalance, which creates the force. It doesn't have to. I don't care if you call it a force or not. I don't even want to get into that debate. I mean, there's too much of it. It's called this, called that, called this. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, it makes the
Hey, hold my pocket.
thing move. All right, that's what I'm looking at. So,
sorry.
Is that, in your opinion, is that the cause that creates the movement?
Yes.
Okay. So if there's a difference in those difference levels, so you have a delta between two mediums, but then you have another object which has a different delta, does it have a different force because it's a different change or different disequilibrium in density?
Yes, Jordan, it does.
Does it have a different force?
That's what makes Flatzoid such an hilarious little idiot.
I think it depends on, like I said, the ratio displacements, because
So you think it does? Listen to what he said. I think it.
Change or different.
You think, that means you're unsure, that you don't know. But we do know. So why won't you listen to us?
Disequilibrium in density, does it have a different force?
I think it depends on, like I said, the ratio displacements, because
he thinks it depends on it.
If you see,
what if they're exactly the same size?
Okay, so let's say.
Well, here's let me give an example here. Let me give a little example, because when I was a kid, this is one of the reasons why I thought about it.
Hey, Martin.
this because when I was a kid, I used to go to the pool and go swimming, and I had these two. I had like I think it was something similar to a cue ball, but it wasn't a cue ball. It was a little lighter than a cue ball, but it's a cue ball. And I also had this wrought iron ball that was like a cannonball, and they were the same shape. And I remember going to the pool and having a lot of fun because I would drop the cue ball first, and it would go at its rate down through the water, and then I'd drop the other one, and it would go faster through it, and I'd try and hit it. I'd see if I could hit the other one with the other, despite it spinning back and forth. And it was a fun game I did a lot. And that would make sense that the heavier ball, because they're the same shape, same size, same medium, it has a greater disequilibrium, that it would fall at a faster rate than the cue ball. Am I
Hey, patio furniture.
correct in that? Would you
Yeah.
agree with that? Or not?
Yeah, because of
Hey, Martin.
friction. The shape
There's a
changes,
friction.
aerodynamics.
But we're not in air, we're in water, and they're both the same size.
Yeah,
So
but
there's no
it's-
difference. There's no difference in the size or the shape or
Well,
the displacement
shape does
of these
change.
objects.
No, the shape does change. Let's, for instance, if you
No, they're both spherical objects, Fkatzoid. Two spheres have the same shape. Doesn't matter if they're a basketball, football. I mean, take away the cracks and the grooves and stuff in them. But a cue ball, bowling ball, wrecking ball, all the same shape.
Take-
I mean, the idiot doesn't. Hey, Stanley Tolles, the idiot doesn't even know what shape is. I mean, seriously, and he thinks people are going to take him seriously.
take a coin and you drop it in water, it will
Right, that's a different shape. That's not the same shape, Fkatzoid. Even though it's round, it's flat and round. It's not round and round.
start going like this
Yeah,
because of the shape, because it has friction, it's resistance.
but Keith, we're not talking about a coin. We're talking about the two balls that I used to play with as a kid.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
just trying. Yeah, but
So this
but
is
I'm
my
trying-
my experience of dealing with this, and I'm trying to figure out. They're the same shape, they're the same size. The only thing different, one is cast iron and one is not, and the cast iron one would always fall faster through the water.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's because the density is way different. There's a greater difference in density between the water and the cannonball than there is between the water and the cue ball.
yeah. I usually like to explain it is it takes more energy to for something that's heavier to be able to how
Well,
can
I'm
I
just
put it? To move it. So when you have something that's been able to accelerate quicker, it's because of the energy it's brought in, because it's giving kinetic energy.
kinetic energy from what? They both have the same kinetic energy. I swam them to the top of the pool and I let them both go. There's no difference in kinetic energy between the
Look at him panic. Look at him panic. He doesn't know how to answer.
two of them either.
Well, let's put it. Did it take more energy to
He's having to rethink his shit.
pick the denser object up than it did the less dense object?
But what does that have to do with the amount of energy when they're in the water? It's a different it's a different medium. As far as the medium is concerned, both balls were brought in at the surface with the same kinetic energy.
But that's what I'm saying. It takes more energy to lift a heavier ball up, a denser ball up.
So that energy doesn't get stored in the object, dude.
So therefore, it will have more potential to be able to move faster because it's heavier. It's got more mass.
And really, I'm sorry to laugh, but that's kind of, I mean, you're going all the way to the point where we have to look at the origin of when.
So, and why did your orange sink when you took mass away from it, Fkatzoid? Remember your orange experiment where you peeled it and it floated? Or you put it in the water and it floated? And then you peeled the peeling off of it and it sunk? Remember that? Why, if you took mass away, did it sink?
When these two objects happen to be picked up and where they were picked up from.
No,
So,
no, not necessarily. I'm just
If I
trying
take
to.
the heavy,
trying to
if I
give you
take the
idea
heavy
why
ball and I pick
it's
it up.
quicker than the other.
so if I pick up the heavy ball and I give it energy, do I give it more energy if I pick it up higher?
Yeah, because you're giving
Okay,
it
so
more.
what if I
Listen to him. Such a positive mental attitude. Yeah. He's really sure of himself, isn't he?
what if I picked up the metal, the heavy ball from the right at the surface of the water? I didn't even pick it up. It was sitting on the ground.
Look at him like, Huh.
And I just rolled it onto a surfboard and I rolled it out to the middle of the pond. But the other ball, I went all the way downstairs in the basement of the building to pick it up. So I have a lot more potential energy on that other ball than I did on the metal ball. Now they're both out into the middle of the water and I let them both go. The heavier ball still goes faster.
I don't think the issue is not about how far you took it. It's about the displacement it's giving. So
But the displacement is
Same displacement.
the same amongst the two in the medium that they're falling in.
yeah, but the displacement ratio is different because one is
How is it
heavy.
different?
No, they're the same. How do you? Does the water change? No. Does the size of the things change? No. How does the ratio change? So you've got a ratio between one thing and another thing. That's what a ratio is. It's an amount of one thing compared to the amount of another thing, and it's expressed as a fraction usually. So how does the ratio change, Flatzoid?
Different.
The one's heavy.
If I take half and a half, the ratio isn't different.
Displacement, the displacement ratio. So
Yeah,
it's
one-
the density then. So it's the density. One's denser.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. The density difference is what creates the rate of acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
But then why do they fall at the exact same rate in a vacuum tube? When I was in school, and this isn't, hold on, and this isn't from like what I've been told. This is when I was in school, we had this really cool device that had two chambers in it. One was under vacuum, one was not. They both had a marble and a feather. And you would turn it upside down. And you would watch the one without the vacuum, the feather would float because the air resistance, and the one without, they would both fall. So the marble and the feather have extremely different density ratios. And in fact, if you think about the displacement of it, the marble probably displaced more mass because the feather was so small and so thin that even in that case, the marble still should have fallen faster than the feather because it was displacing. I mean, it had a greater density disequilibrium, and that's the part I can't understand about the theory.
I'm going to let this guy talk, and I'm going to make some coffee.
Because that part doesn't make sense to me.
Ah.
In my understanding of physics, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is that, remember, because you have a different density, it takes more energy to lift it up, okay? Just like it takes more energy for it to move. So when you're going to pick up two different objects and you're medium dependent, because you're saying in this case water, so there is friction. So when you try and drop them in a vacuum, there's no friction of air. So that's why they fall at the same rate. When you drop them in the water, they have a difference because of the friction. That's why I said we look at the aerodynamic properties of them.
But they're the same shape. So you have to take friction and aerodynamics out of it because it's the same surface area passing across the same amount of water.
The displacement ratio. The displacement ratio
It's
is
just
different. It's heavier.
One's denser. One's denser.
Because it's easier for something that has more weight to push through something than something that has less weight. Let's, for instance, put in another vector. If you had to go and push a car, it's more difficult for you to do it alone. But if you have someone with you pushing, it's easier to push the car.
Did he say
it's
vector?
The same if you had to change the vector downwards. If two people are pushing, it's easier than one person because there's more weight being attributed. There's more force being attributed. So the heavier object, the more force is attributed. So that's why the ratio is different.
Yes.
Well, that was a lot of complicated word salad that didn't have anything to do with the two balls that I'm dropping in the water.
More mass
Solid.
with more force. That's all.
It didn't have any relation to the experiment or the observation I saw with the two balls in the water.
It has exactly that. And it can be shown, proven, because if you take those two objects and put it in a vacuum, the one will weigh more than the other one.
So just answer this. If a metal ball is sitting on the ground, does it always have a constant state of disequilibrium?
Everything always has state of disequilibrium.
Always. Does it ever reach equilibrium?
It sits at static.
Even if it's sitting static, it never reaches
It
equilibrium.
has a relative equilibrium point.
What do you mean by relative equilibrium point?
Like this tin can, this is its relative equilibrium point. It's sitting static.
Okay, so it's relative to whoever it's on. So
now there's a new relative equilibrium point.
In short, the answer is yes, that it does always have a disequilibrium. Then I was just curious because I had never really heard anyone talk about that. But well,
Yeah.
I will move on to the next one because I'm limited on time again, like I was saying. But I can say that thank you for answering it, even though I don't agree with your answer. I think it just doesn't make any sense from my observations that I've seen when it comes to that kind of stuff. That it would have to be related to the energy taken in moving it from where it was originally, because then hell, you got to go back to where it originally came from. I mean, does something have more energy because it was mined from minerals too far down in the earth versus one that was mined at the surface? I mean, where do you stop when it comes to determining how much kinetic energy something has with it? And how can you determine that that is the reason why it falls faster? It makes a lot more sense that it's just the difference between the densities, and the heavier object's going to go faster. That would make sense for density disequilibrium.
Hey, Dakin, hey, CJ Lemoreau.
Disequilibrium. The only problem with that is when you throw it in a vacuum tube, then things get all thrown to whack. That doesn't make any
No,
sense.
but
So
that's what I said. There's more levels to it. You're ignoring that it's the medium and the object to medium ratio. So when you
I'm
take
not
the
ignoring
medium
that.
away in a vacuum, that's
Hold on.
it travels
I'm not going to let you say that I'm ignoring something, because I'm not ignoring it. I'm absolutely taking into account the displacement of the medium, the density of the medium, the density of the objects, all of that, the surface area, the resistance, taking all into account, because I'm strictly looking at it from the surface of the pool to the bottom of the pool. That's the moment right there.
That's in water. That's what I'm saying. So when you
It's in water,
when you try to equivocate it now to a medium that is almost non-existent, like a vacuum, it has different ratio properties. It doesn't have the same amount of friction. So why would
that's
you
why I went,
behave the same?
That's why I went to the example of the feather in the marble that I saw when I had that device when I was growing up, because those are two very, very vastly different dense objects.
Hey, Steven. How you doing?
That there should be some
Hey, Tusk.
some difference in acceleration.
That's what I'm telling you. Surface area.
Yeah, but there's a vacuum. It's a vacuum.
Surface area. Yeah, but
there's no resistance.
Yes, exactly. You took the medium away. So why would you expect it to have the same properties as when you had it with a friction area?
I'm expecting it to react to the density disequilibrium.
It is.
That's what I'm expecting it to react. And when they fall together, they don't.
It's different because it has less pushback. It has less pushback by the medium.
Well, it has none because they're in a vacuum. So let's get rid of the resistance. There's no resistance between the feather and the marble. None. Great. No resistance in the air. All there is the mass. That's it.
Objects.
There's the surface area can be taken out of account because there's no resistance from any other medium. There's no atoms to be hitting it.
So it's displacing
because
nothing.
The mass. So because the density.
He's got that smile on his face, and he's going to start doing a thing with his mouth. Watch him.
This equilibrium between nothing and the objects is what's making it fall. The disequilibrium between the nothing and the marble is a lot stronger and a lot greater of a disequilibrium than it is between the nothing and the feather. So that's why it just doesn't make sense that they don't fall at a different rate.
Okay, let me try and say this
that's all I'm going to say with it.
Let me try and explain this in another way. So let's start with the vacuum. You got the two objects that fall at the same rate. Why? Because there's no resistance. So when you take those same objects and put them in a medium with resistance, you understand the displacement ratio changes.
What's the difference? What's the ratio of difference in density between the two objects in the vacuum?
That would be based on nothing because there is no.
Come up with a value so that when we change the medium, we can understand the reaction. So just give me a theoretical value of two densities between two objects that are in the vacuum falling together.
I mean, if you get that much change, then a bowling ball should fall faster in a vacuum, but it doesn't. A bowling ball falls relatively the exact same amount in a vacuum or outside of a vacuum because of its aerodynamic shape.
Let's just say the unbalanced force would be equal to 1.
Of what? Which one?
Both of them. Because
the unbalanced force. If the unbalanced.
So it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
This force is 1, then they're not going to be density different. They're not going to be. There's no density between the difference between the two of them.
Because the density doesn't matter in a vacuum.
So
Remember,
how
there's
can it be
no
density
resistance.
disequilibrium if
There's
it doesn't matter?
It,
That doesn't make any sense
wait,
either.
wait, wait. The phone
Wait. Hold on.
is still denser than nothing around it. You understand?
Okay, let's
So
not
it
let's not
reaches,
go
when
to
it
let's not
reaches,
go to another let's
Can you
not go to
quit with
another
the
situation.
interrupting, dude? Dude, you just keep interrupting every time. You cut off Flats at the end of his sentence every time. Can you just be a little patient till he gets to the end of his
I'm
sentence?
I'm
Yeah.
trying to stay focused on the topic at hand. I'm trying to look
I
at this
am
vacuum
It's
saying
the vacuum chamber with the feather and the marble.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're not talking about a phone. We're talking about the feather
Okay.
and the vacuum.
Feather
That's
in
it.
a feather in your marble or whatever. If there's no air around it,
This is great. I saw a little bit of this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cover it. Hey, JD.
everything is fair play game. You can put it as 0 because there is no resistance. The resistance is what
Resistance zero.
changes the amount of displacement when you place it in a medium.
But could you repeat that again?
The resistance is what changes the amount of displacement when you stick it in a medium.
Yes.
Because some
What? No. No. Resistance doesn't change this density. Doesn't change the density of this object, man.
something that is denser, a medium that is denser, has more force attributed to the object.
Right, because of fucking gravity, dipshit.
Hold on, I'm just trying to go back to what you said.
Less denser has less force attributed onto the object. Therefore, it has different ratios in different mediums.
Okay, that's fine. Different ratios, different mediums. We're talking about the vacuum. We're not talking about different mediums.
And the vacuum has
So-
no resistance at all, so therefore they fall at the same rate.
And isn't found in nature.
And also that rate is an average, and it does change within.
Yeah, vacuums are found in nature. Whenever a trigger shrimp or a harlequin shrimp pop a crab shell open, they create a vacuum, dipshit.
Different variables. It does change.
Also true.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I know, I mean, like I said, I have my beliefs, I have my understanding. I'm not gonna say beliefs because I know you guys know that, but I have my understanding of the physical world from my experiences. So I'm just curious because I've wanted to hear the example, I wanted to hear an explanation to that RDD issue. But like I said, I'm limited on time. I gotta go horseback riding, so I at least now know what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but I know what you're saying. So thank you for answering my question. Now, I wanted to discuss the Vendée Globe Race with you guys.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing I got to ask is, what's his name? Sovereign Soul Unlimited Unchanged
Yeah,
Mind. Who is that?
he's not here tonight though, but
Oh, he's not there? Not here? I thought he was earlier.
no, he's not here.
Who?
Oh, okay. Sovereign Soul, he said something in a live stream about how the average speed of the boats was 4.7 knots, and I wanted to ask him where he got that information from. But he's not here to answer it, so. What do you know about that race?
Hervé Raboni. He's actually
What do
been
you guys
Sorry, Jeff.
what do you guys know about that race?
Too many people.
Sorry.
Jeff said something about Raboni.
Yeah, Hervé
Uh,
Raboni. He's been a participant in the Globe Vendée race multiple
Okay.
times. Okay.
Okay.
And he said the speeds that they were traveling at did not coincide with the speeds that they were displaying to the people like watching the race.
Okay.
Hey, Taker Phil.
Is that one guy saying that?
Yeah, he took part in it. It's a guy
Yeah.
that took part in the race.
I'm curious because wouldn't all 40 competitors say that?
Well, the thing is, why would they all come at different times and different distances for doing the same race?
Well, the distances, obviously, they're not following the exact.
Oh, cut out.
I'm going to have to get ready to go. It's
Oh, there we go.
taking
Sorry,
shorter than I
cut out
thought.
again.
Obviously, since they're not on the same track, I mean, you run an S curve, you're going to be going different distances. Am I still on this stream?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're still on, yeah.
What happened?
You get
You dropped out for a
What
second.
happened?
You're still up there.
Crap.
Can you hear us?
Am I there? Okay, am I here still?
Yeah, you're still here.
All right, hold on a second. My alarm went off on my phone to let me know I'm out of time, and it shut everything down when the alarm went off. I can't hear again. Hang on.
Everything's out of sync as well, we.
Perfect.
Still getting echoing though.
No stress. Can you hear us?
You guys there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would just
Okay, I
gonna
see you
suggest,
talking, but I can't hear it. I don't know. It
Always
says my
echoing.
I was
speaker's
just going to
on.
suggest if there's not
We're
got
here.
much time, why don't you come back and do it when there's more time? Because I can't be doing with this like rushing through stuff business. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna jump out and jump right back in.
Okay.
It keeps.
And I just want to say, Mike from Drunk
Right.
Debunk Show, I wasn't squirming at all. I was explaining it to the guy on a very rudimentary level, which he still couldn't get.
That guy's an idiot. That guy's an idiot. He can't help
Dude.
himself. But
You see, the sad thing
that's
is,
all he does is sit there.
Mike wanted me to talk to this guy on his show, and I said, no, he can come to my show. So they think they got some kind of got you, where it's literally just not understand what's going on.
No, you don't have a fucking clue, Flatzoid. You don't have a clue.
Why do they always go to the
Yes,
feather
no.
thing? I don't know.
Hey, don't be talking smack when I leave, man. Come on. I know you're
It's not
talking
smack,
about-
it's the truth,
It's the
man.
truth.
I'm talking about Mike from Drunk Debunk Show.
No, I mean either way. I don't think any of those guys do that. I know you. Sometimes they do. There are some gotcha things out there, but it's equal.
See, we we debunk you. The only gotcha we pull on you is when you claim to know something and then we quiz you on it. That's a gotcha.
On everybody. Everybody does the gotchas. You guys do it too, just as much as anyone else does. So no one can claim innocence on this one. But anyways, okay, back to the globe
Don't
race.
go out of our way to do it,
So-
though. That's the difference.
Back to the globe race. So all of
Really, you don't?
these guys leave out at the same time. And obviously, you can see the different weather patterns. The two guys that came in first, I watched them from the beginning. The two guys that came in first, they got a really lucky break because they took a route inside some islands that made them avoid the doldrums, and they got way ahead of everybody else. So they did a different route. So there's going to be different distances for every boat on the race because they all do slightly different routes. The point is, the overall distance of the race is about 45,000 kilometers. That's from France down around South Africa, around everything, and back up to France. So I haven't taken the time to look at how much of that 45,000 kilometers needs to be taken off from the southern latitude lines up to France and back, because that's not really the distance around. But it just doesn't conform with, match what would be anything other than, the reality of the distance for the race being on a globe, on a sphere. And the speeds they do, I mean, the 24-hour speed record for one of these boats during a 24-hour time period. Do you guys have any idea how far they went in 24 hours?
Well,
I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about this race fight. So.
Hey, Mellow Globe. Hey, Sully.
614 nautical miles in 24 hours, averaging 29 knots. From a sailor's perspective,
that's why I said you'll have to ask some where he got those speeds from.
yeah, because it isn't right. But that's one of those things. I think you guys should look more into that rather than just listening to one person saying that their mileage wasn't necessarily right, because all of those boats, when they're done, you can see the speed over ground, the distance over ground that they traveled, the overall distance. I mean, you can look back and all of them are in contact with shore teams throughout the entire race. So I just find it really, really hard to think that every one of those teams and every one of those boats could have such erroneous errors that would be necessary for it to be wrong.
So what's your claim regarding this race? Like, what?
Well, that it's kind of a evidence for the fact that we live on a sphere.
Yeah,
That it's a shorter
well,
distance.
you know it's measured flat, so whatever.
Because
that's
it's
in your race,
because the distance the distance they sailed.
Well, the distances change all the time. That's the whole point. And their speed changes and the amount of time they take changes.
Well,
remember, all this is happening on Dead Reckoning. They all do this based on Dead Reckoning.
They're not all doing it dead reckoning.
No,
with
they
the technology now today, there's multiple ways that they can be doing their navigation.
Quick question.
The celestial navigation can
Fucking
work.
dead
They've got all their electronics. They've got their
Celestial
backup
navigation
stuff.
requires Dead Reckoning.
No, it doesn't.
Well, that's another discussion to have.
No, celestial navigation doesn't require dead reckoning. Jesus fucking Christ. Holy shit, this dumbass.
At some point with you about celestial navigation, because I don't agree with what you say on that one at all. But I have to get going, so I'm going to go horseback riding, and that's what I originally wanted to do.
Enjoy.
Thank you for taking the time with me.
Yeah, measured flat by exactly who? Yeah, they say that because other people have said it. Other flat earthers say it, so it's true. So they repeat it. It's idiotic.
Thank you guys for listening to me. Thank
Just
you for letting me
Hey, Wrath.
come
Can
on.
I just say,
One
if you're
question
going to
to
come
you.
back, can you make sure you get enough time? Because rushing through stuff like this is nowhere to be done, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But I
if
appreciate
you're
you
going
coming,
to
man.
come back again, try and plan for a couple of hours or something.
It honestly, it just took me enough to figure out what the freaking time zone difference was to find out what time it to do this. So once we get it figured out, I get better at it. So, anyways,
A question to you related to your question. Do you
Sure.
think that in the world we have more conformists or more moralists?
You'll have to say that again. I don't quite. I'll be honest with you. I really have a hard time understanding you when you speak.
Do you think that in the world we have more people who are conformists or more people who are moralists?
Conformists or moralists?
Yes.
What the fuck? What kind of fucking false dichotomy is that, man?
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
said.
So you think you could have a nonconformist who's moral?
Well, that would require a whole entire explanation of how you define those words. So I don't have time for that one. But I'm not sure exactly where that goes. But
Exactly to those people who were in the race. It's exactly the
they're
sample.
sailors. They're sailors.
Yes.
They love to sail and they want to go around the world as fast as the other guy and beat them. That's all they are. They're
Right.
diehard sailors. I know those guys really well. I am one of them.
Right. It doesn't matter if they're conformist or moralist or whatever the fuck, Christian, atheist. Doesn't matter.
I've spent 10,000 miles sailing the open oceans. I'm a sailor. I understand what it's like. So
Hey, yes, so.
it's a drive.
There you go.
Oh, now he shows up and I got to run. I got to go. Dude, I'll talk at some point.
I've been
Trust me,
trying to
I'll talk-
connect for the
I will
last
come back
20
on.
minutes. I've been trying to connect for the last 20 minutes and couldn't get this damn thing to go to I couldn't get on the internet.
All right. I don't feel so bad now about my problems. All right. I got to run, guys.
We'll organize another time.
Hey, misinformation agents, what's up?
Organize another time
Thank
when you got
you.
more time. Chop.
No, he had to go. He said earlier he was scheduled to go horseback riding, and he had an alarm telling him when it was time to go. So he wasn't rage quitting.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Enjoy your horseback ride. Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Hey, so you stopped in.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, exactly, Tusk. He's a fucking idiot.
How you doing?
He's a fucking slime ball.
Question in a matter of moralists and conformists. It was exactly related to his question. Why only one guy said it about the speed? That's how it is. Majority of people, they are conformists.
Yeah, but not just that. People aren't worrying about that. The thing is, how it works is they try and course their pattern based on dead reckoning, where the
No, they don't. No. With the celestial navigation, you don't base your path on dead reckoning, dipshit. You place yourself in a definite position. The only time you'd use dead reckoning is when you wake up in the morning, right? You haven't taken a reading for a long time, for a day, overnight. You've been asleep. You want to know where the boat's taking you, right? Because you've not been at the helm to see which direction you're going. So then you do dead reckoning based on your wind speed, what direction you're moving at the time, and you sort of roll back to where you were, or from where you were to where you are now, and that you give your best guess. Jesus fucking Christ.
where the weather patterns are, how the current's moving, how the wind's moving, and that's how they try and race through. Because remember, it's all wind powered with them.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
And then a lot.
Right, and they use GPS, dumb shit. In the boat race, they use GPS. We can confirm that. In the Vendée yacht race, do they use GPS? Yes, in the Vendée Globe yacht race, competitors use GPS to track their position. Although they can't view their exact position data on their onboard instruments, the race organizers receive this information via GPS tracker to monitor the boat's location and ensure safety, especially in critical areas like ice exclusion zones. Okay. To navigate. What are the rules for Vendiglobe? There you go. Vendiglobe is a solo, single-handed, round-the-world, non-stop race without any outside assistance. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. The skipper commits to sailing alone and face all the events arising during a Vendiglobe alone. In addition, she cannot have any animal on board. That's weird. No stopover is permitted. Okay. All right, that makes more sense.
And none of this is globe based. None of it.
You know what, guys? We should check this race on the Flat Earth map.
In
So
reality,
how they're going.
Yes, and the amount of time it took them to go around Antarctica would have taken a lot longer on a flat Earth because you have to go the entire circumference of the flat Earth instead of around Antarctica. Antarctica is the Vendée Globe, right? Right? Is that the one around Antarctica, or am I thinking of a different one?
Reality, you don't notice things till you've come out of heliocentric religion. You know what I mean? And then you
Dead Reckoning.
You look back and you think, hold on a minute. You know what I mean? So there's that. You know, if the
that's a very coincidental name.
If the ball's deep in heliocentrism, they probably don't even question what they're doing. They just do a race.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say something.
Yeah, good question. What map? What flat Earth map? We've been asking you for one for years. You haven't been able to come up with one. The only one you had was found false. So what you got?
Really quick before, because I do have to go here. So what I'm going to say is that if you look, Hervé Raboni has done a bunch of videos going through the entire race and showing them, when they showed the video clips of them doing stuff on the boat, they're in fast motion. And it was showing them they're going faster than they're actually traveling. So that's how they do that. They make it look like they're going faster when they're going slow, and then slow when they're like.
So that would be worse then. So if they're going slower than they say they're going, then it would take them longer to go. They couldn't go as far as if they were going the actual speed.
Like, they're trying to average.
So that looks much worse for the flat Earth.
Average out the speeds, right? And that's what they do, right? And
Eddie did a whole series on that, didn't he? Like,
yeah,
the whole. Yeah.
Do you have a link? Do you have a link? Maybe you can.
Eddie Banjo. It'll be on Eddie Banjo's channel, I believe. But you just type in Hervé Raboni.
I think Taboo's
Taboo
got
Taboo probably does too. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Where would he be? Hervé Raboni from Switzerland. Is that a Swiss name? 93 to 94 Merit Cup. Does he have a channel? Probably not. No. I don't know. Flat Earth Library? This is Hervé Raboni?
Hello, everyone.
Okay. We'll look at that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. But anyways, I got to go. God bless, guys.
Later, Jeff.
Thanks, man.
Yes.
I ain't got much interest in it, to be fair. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, I was just having a conversation in chat about me and Brenda talking about circumnavigation and how you have to dead reckon and you can't do it on a ball. There's
Yep.
no way you can. And he even considered that and he conceded to that on my show. And here we are talking about the same thing. Jeez.
Is that like when Brian's logic says you can't have perspective on a globe? Is that the same thing?
You're retarded. I don't even know why you would talk to her.
Him, yeah. Well, he came on my show, interrupted everything, and it got into an argument with me in the process. And then I broke him down with the circumnavigation and how you have to dead reckon to due north. That was the whole point of the conversation. Nothing else.
No, actually.
So just to show how disgusting.
Hello, everyone.
SSU,
I have another great video.
Sovereign scumbag is. In the middle of a conversation, they were talking about somebody. And something having to do with, I don't know, NASA or some shit. This came up. He just popped this up on his screen. Just popped that. Thought it was appropriate to pop up an anti-Semitic stereotype of a Jewish person up on his screen. You know, tiny hat, big nose, greedy looking. So just thought I'd point that out.
From its standpoint, its whole purpose for the conversation was to derail your show. That's all. Okay.
I was doing John Levy. I was covering some of his discoveries in the show.
Oh, you're talking about Brenda about that few months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I know. I came on and said, "What the hell is it doing here? Get it off!"
Excuse me? That's fucking repulsive. Calling a human it?
Are you scared by me, PJ? Are you intimidated by me? Just get it off.
Yes, you're scared. All hate comes from fear. All hate stems from fear.
No shit.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, won't be intimidated by a man dressed as a woman.
If I woke up in the middle of the night and saw it in my room, I would run.
I think I'd be having him. One of them funny dreams, incubus, succubus dreams. You know what I mean?
God. He should be a grandpa by now, like me, but instead he decided to be a woman.
Grandma.
I think it is just the incubus, succubus demon.
So the fact that you keep talking about her and talking about her proves that you're triggered by her. Just the mere fact that she exists. The mere fact that she chooses to do what she wants to fucking do triggers the fuck out of you. Because you're vile, repulsive pieces of shit. This is the proof. The mere fact that this motherfucker keeps having this piece of shit on when he posts shit like this in his live streams. This is during a live stream.
Together. That's Brenda itself.
I'm just looking if I can find something on Taboo Conspiracy channel. So for nothing.
I'll go to Eddie's.
If anybody has a link for it, would be really
can-
appreciated.
You search thing and type Hervé Rabona.
I tried. It keeps giving me stupid things like not a Professor Dave.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
And Simon Dan.
Yeah.
All these
Experts
idiots.
in the field.
Yeah. Like you ask for Taboo Conspiracy, then they give you Simon Dan. What the hell?
I know, it's ridiculous.
I'll see what I can do. Hold on.
But yeah, like I was trying to explain to this guy.
Why the fuck would you want to watch a taboo conspiracy video? Why? Do you want to get dumber? Of course you do.
Because he is apparently he's a scuba dive instructor, and so he should know all about you need containment to breathe.
Yeah. Yes, you need a container to pressurize gas into to breathe underwater. Yeah. You don't need a container above water.
Yeah.
Well, depending on how far up above water you go. See, I don't need a container to breathe until I get up past like Denver, like a mile or two above the earth. Then I need a container. But you don't need. I don't need. Do you see a container?
Absolutely, yeah. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. That's what scuba means. Self-contained.
Ooh, gets a gold star for the day.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm
yeah,
in
the Venn race, guys, for all the Globers out there thinking that it's somehow a globe, something. No, actually, it's a.
Let me see. What do they call it? Vendy Globe. Oh, so they've named it the Vendy Globe. Well, okay. Notice they didn't name it the Vendy Flat Earth.
Against the globe, the whole path they take alone debunks the globe. There's a reason why they do it a certain way. Okay, you got it. Thanks, man.
RT, that's how I'd pronounce it as well. I'd say John Levi, not John Levy. I only say Levy because I'm used to other people saying it. But if I read it, I'd say Levi, like the jeans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mike beat me to it.
Like that song, that Elton John song.
Yeah.
Levi likes his money.
I just want to say thank you, Roger Little, for gifting a membership. Really appreciate it, man. You rock.
Easy.
Oh, I found it.
And then everybody hit the likes. Share the show, please. It really helps support the show. You guys rock. Yeah.
Today I have the privilege of sharing another fascinating Flat Earth presentation from Hervé Raboni, which will be added to my Hervé Raboni playlist, which you can find here. For those who are new to this discussion, Hervé was a professional sailor who crossed the Atlantic 8 times and circumnavigated our entire flat Earth as a participant in the Whitbread 1993-1994 race.
No, he didn't. He circumnavigated the globe, but there's no such thing as a flat Earth. No such thing.
As Hervé
That's like saying he raced Santa.
As discussed in prior videos, as part of the Cabal's process to change our flat Earth reality.
The Cabal? Oh.
Into a false globe.
That sounds sinister.
The controllers artificially enlarged the northern hemisphere and simultaneously shrunk the southern hemisphere.
Right, that's the only way an AE map will work, when it's centered on the northern hemisphere. So nobody artificially made it bigger. It's still the same size in reality. It just looks bigger on paper because you have to stretch it out to make it fit.
In other words, actual distances in the east-west direction in the northern hemisphere are shorter than claimed by maps and the globe. While in the southern hemisphere, actual distances between points are farther away. But the same does not apply in the north-south direction. This deception has created various telltale signs of manipulation. Due to his experience in sailing, Hervé noticed that actual distances were shorter in the northern hemisphere and farther in the southern hemisphere. In addition,
No, they aren't. Well, maybe by a few miles, but not by much.
both false
Not by anything noticeable.
magnetic declination adjustment.
Remember, this is what we were talking about magnetic declination before. I do believe they use the magnetic declination to account for the Earth, and that's why they're trying to make it seem like the distances are working for a globe, but it's not, because there's more declination in certain areas, and this could be why it doesn't make sense, and that's what I was trying to.
What did you fucking say? It's because of magnetic declination. A, debatable D. Because of magnetic declination that the Earth looks like a globe but isn't really. Is that what he said?
False magnetic declination adjustment.
Remember, this is what we were talking about magnetic declination before. I do believe they use the magnetic declination to account for the Earth, and that's why they're trying to.
No, they used magnetic declination to account for the fact that the magnetic south and north poles are not on the geometric rotational centers of the poles. See, they're different. So you have to accommodate for that when you're using a magnetic compass, as opposed to using Polaris, for instance.
To make it seem like the distances are working for a globe, but it's not, because there's more declination in certain areas.
Right. The further north or south you go, the more declination you have, because, like, if you're looking at something that's a foot apart, two things that are a foot apart, a half a mile down the road, what's that angle going to be, Fkatzoid? That angle is going to be very narrow, right? Very narrow. But if you stand right up next to them, the angle's a lot bigger. So your declination would be more closer to them.
And this could be why it's...
Wait, could be? What do you mean could be? I thought you knew shit. Now you're just guessing?
It doesn't make sense. And that's what I was trying to tell this guy, that the fact that they're all...
You mean Drew? You talked with him for 35 minutes, man. You talked with him for 30 minutes. You can't remember his name. You put his name in your title. See, it's right there.
all take the same route, and their distance varies. Their distances vary a lot. It's not just a little bit.
Right.
It's a lot. And
right, because some people go this way and some people go this way. Right. But the distance between waypoints doesn't change.
And sometimes it takes...
The direct distance between points doesn't change. Points along the route doesn't change. Now, their path may change. Who would take more steps between the bar and a house? The husband who's drunk or the wife that's not?
Them even maybe...
The wife that's come to get him.
20 days longer to do the same race, the same distance. How's that work?
That doesn't make no sense at all, sir.
I mean, either someone's very idiotic at sailing or someone's just super good.
These people really just don't deserve anything. Just they don't. I mean, they don't deserve any respect. They shouldn't deserve food. Hey, Professor Phil Bell, what's up? Yes, absolutely, Phil.
And time zones certainly hide these changes. In my opinion, the time zone deception is the most obvious, since there are only...
Time zones are political. time zones are political. Russia used to have half time zones. Did you know that? Back when I had a Casio World Time watch, in the book it said Russia, and on the watch you could click on like a half a time zone of Russia. I think there was 2 of them, but they're just political, man.
Only 19 time zones in the northern hemisphere.
No, there are 19. There are 24 divisions of the Earth. Doesn't matter how where 24 longitude divisions of the Earth going around. Doesn't matter if you're in the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. They didn't put more time zones in the southern hemisphere. They didn't.
Well, there are 31 to 32 time zones in the southern hemisphere. That
No, there aren't.
How is possible
only makes
to
sense
interrupt?
on the flat Earth.
If I'm correct, how is possible that China, if it's so big, has only one time zone?
Because that's what their political system decided on. How many time zones are there in China? 5 different time zones. What do you know? You're a lying sack of shit, you anti-Semitic fuck.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
That's a good one, dude.
32 time zones.
But if Alaska and Canada, no, what did they say?
See, time zone map. Time zone map. Here's one you can buy. I don't want to buy one. Just want to take a gander. Is this the one they were looking at? No, same number of time zones, man. Same number. Sorry. It's not one of those disappearing elf tricks, dude. There's same amount, north and south. I don't know what dumb motherfucker started that bullshit.
So we like you in France. No, Russia. Russia and Alaska are so close to each other. Why do they have? You can literally see one another, and they have a 4-hour time zone difference.
Yeah, it's mental.
They can literally see each other.
Yeah.
Really? You think that's true? Let's see. Here's Russia is here, and then you'd have one time zone here. See, wow, about the same time zone. They're about an hour apart. But see, this part of Russia doesn't change time. It stays within this time zone. See that? So basically, they're just one time zone over. So what's your point? Do you bother looking anything up? Do you bother educating yourself before you speak ever? I mean, they're dumber than dog shit. They just talk. Nothing they say is true. They just fucking say it. That it must be just this. It's one just giant mass of Earth. It must be just one time zone, right? And then the rest of them just fucking agree with them. Hey, West Side. Yeah, Russia and Canada or Alaska are like 4 time zones over. No, California is 4 time zones over. 1, 2, 3. See, 1, 2. Yeah, about 4 time zones over, but not Alaska, you stupid fuck. Oh, are you looking at a map where it has Alaska down here? Is that what you were looking at, you stupid son of a bitch? One of those maps that has like Hawaii here and Alaska here just to save space? Is that what you were looking at there, Fkatzoid? What a dumb fuck.
Oh yeah, certain part of Alaska. Yeah, because when you see it on a flat map, it looks end to end, like poles apart, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it's wrapped around a globe, you see them not far from each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you should watch
In his last
video
presentation, Hervé
sent to link to
And that made absolutely no sense, PJ.
flat.
Nice attempt on a save, though.
How moon works. It's not going like a perfectly
Your fealty bracelet will be in the mail.
in a circle. It's going like a 1 degree up and down as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know it. So it's on the Space Buster channel. I have a link to it. I don't agree with everything because they speak a lot of BS about the Christ. But in a matter of how it works on Flat Earth, because he's a Flat Earther, woman explains pretty well. So it's pretty good take. I will find the link.
I watched that Hey Dude whole episode yesterday, and what it is he's trying to say they're using the time zones to make it seem like there's a midnight sun in Antarctica.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Using time zones. What, all 24 of them at once? All 24 of them? Because that's how many it passed through. 24 time zones. Didn't go down. Didn't go behind anything.
They also showed us how road map scales in the north are wrong. Road maps have been artificially stretched to hide the fact that driving distances don't match the distances of nautical mile straight pathways of airplanes and boats.
Because nautical miles are different than statutory miles. Did you know that? Oh my Jesus Christ. And yeah, they do match. As a matter of fact, you can take a map, like a state map, and you can take a, I don't know what they're called, odometer, a handheld odometer, has a little wheel, and you can ride along the road, and it'll match your odometer on your car when you drive that road. Did you know that? Why do you think they have a fucking scale on the map? That's so you can judge distances, and they match. They match reality.
To be clear,
oh my God, this guy's dumb.
Your driving distance aren't wrong. Driving distances cannot be altered, but nautical mile pathways of airplanes and boats can be altered.
So you think if a plane went from here to here, like went from here to here, it'd be shorter? You think it'd be shorter? Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
But the controllers had to make it appear as though the driving distances match the...
Yeah, you see the excuses they have.
No, nobody matches driving distances with airplane distance, dipshit. Nobody does that. Where are you getting this? Where the fuck are you getting this, man?
For planes and boats is drift.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Because...
And you're mixing, well, first of kilometers. You're showing kilometers on the screen and talking about nautical miles. What the fuck are you doing, dude?
They say, oh, you drifted a bit off, so therefore your distance has changed. With a car, you can't drift off. So it's a bit different.
Yeah, didn't Bob measure
Hey, KB104.
the distance between Missouri and Florida with a car? He drove all that way and proved the globe with his car. He used his odometer to do it. Remember that? It was just a long time ago, but yeah, he did that.
Odometer. Yeah, it's weird hearing it called that. Mileometer. I'm used to calling it. Mileometer.
nautical mile distances of the straight pathways of airplanes and boats. For example, an airplane that supposedly flies at 520 knots may actually only be flying at 260 knots. I'll have links in the description to Hervé's prior discussions on these topics.
No. What are you talking about?
If you haven't seen them. This next presentation.
So you think of if a plane's flying 500 nautical miles, 500 knots, wind speed, it's actually going 200 and some? Think that's how wind speed works?
presentation builds on the roadmap presentation by showing how boat speeds based on nautical miles are artificially inflated. It's very difficult for a sailor to determine
78 kilometers an hour? You think that guy's going 78 kilometers an hour in that boat? You think? Echo, how many nautical miles per hour is 78 kilometers per hour?
78 kilometers per hour is about 42.1 nautical miles per hour.
So 42 knots?
determine independently how fast he's actually traveling, and that's how the controllers have gotten away with this. For the first part of the presentation,
the controllers.
Airbase shows how the official recordings of the American Cup competition.
Right, they see where they were and they time how far it took them to get to that point, and that's the speed. And 78 kilometers per hour is the official speed they're moving at.
Were artificially sped up to make it appear as though the boats were traveling faster than they actually were. Officially, those boats supposedly travel up to 80 kilometers per hour, or 50 miles per hour.
Right, 42 knots is 78 kilometers per hour. Yes.
But the actual speed is much less.
No, it's not. It's not. They record them. They measure them moving that speed, dumb fuck. See, that's what they were doing up here. They're measuring how far they're going. It's like looking at your odometer and saying, speed's right, but the odometer's wrong. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Per hour, or 50 miles per hour. But the actual speed is much less. You'll see how the movements of the sailors appear much more natural when slowed down by approximately 30%. And that when the official video...
No, you can tell that's slowed down, dude. You can tell that's slowed down. What do you mean? It looks sped up.
But the actual speed is much less. You'll see how the movements of the sailors appear much more natural when slowed down by approximately 30%. And that when the official video is compared to...
No, it looks slowed down. It does not look natural. You're gaslighting.
Independent footage from a spectator.
You're trying to make people believe something that they don't see.
You can see the speeds of the boats have been artificially increased. For the second part of the video...
No, how do you know that's the same boat? How do you know that's the same race?
Hervé goes into detail about the apparent wind angle.
How do you know that's at the same time that they were measured at going that speed?
Used in sailing. Officially, those American Cup boats are supposedly traveling at 80 kilometers per hour. He demonstrates that those speeds are physically impossible for sailing.
Physically impossible? Oh, okay.
This part...
Wow, that'd be interesting.
I think I've seen all this like once before.
No,
he has a good job with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a bit of this because it rings a bell now.
Top speed for a boat. World's fastest boat is the Spirit of Australia, which reached a top speed of 317 miles per hour. Huh. Wow, that's real fast. What about a sailboat? .45 knots, man. So this guy who's supposed to be an expert a sailor says it's impossible for a boat to go 45 knots. Huh.
Seen him standing at that whiteboard. But no, I haven't seen all of that. I didn't know about this, really. But it rings a bell now of...
I would say that man has absolutely no fucking credibility.
Held a bit of it. Interesting.
It's like saying, Formula One race car can't go 150 miles an hour. That's impossible. Cars can't do that. Maybe he lost his races. Maybe that's true. Let's see. List of Oceanics 93 to 94. Let's see, the 1993 to 94 Merit Cup. Say who won that thing? He sailed for Switzerland. Huh. Oh, here we go. Where's Switzerland? Or Sweden? That's not it. Winners. See, the crew included. So he wasn't a winner. He wasn't one of the winners. Oh, well.
Seemed confusing, but when his car was parked, the true wind angle came from behind the car and to the right at 135 degrees, as indicated by the weather vane. But as he began accelerating, the apparent wind angle shifts to the front of the car. A sailor would be aiming for an apparent wind angle of 27 degrees to inflate the sails, and that angle becomes impossible as the car travels faster than 45 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, because you're traveling.
What the fuck are you talking about? So if you don't have a wind that's 45, if you don't have the wind, if the wind isn't faster than 45 knots, you can't go faster than 45 knots? What the fuck is this guy talking about? Can you make heads or tails of this, Professor Bill? Huh?
Faster than the wind.
Of course.
I got one thing to say. I'm going to quote Bev. You can do F all with an angle. But
Yeah.
This is actually showing you can do F all with an angle, Bev. Pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
That's why they try and they do certain
Beavis has spoken.
currents and stuff to catch the wind so they can speed up. So they know they have to go with current, they have to go with the wind, they have to go with the...
So you know, if they go faster with a current, they're going faster, right? If the wind takes them faster, they're going faster. Doesn't matter how fast the wind's going or how fast the water's going. It's how fast they're going in relation to the earth. I don't think they understand how speed works.
So you're in the wrong chat. You're short. Oh, you got it now.
Wow, these guys are fucking dumb.
A sailboat cannot travel faster than approximately 45 kilometers per hour because the forward apparent wind angle makes it impossible to inflate the sails.
That's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. So it's horseshit. So in your car example, if I'm in my car, my speedometer says I'm going 50, but I've got a 50 mile an hour wind hit me. Does that mean I'm not going 50?
Right.
Very interesting. Based on the evidence Hervé has uncovered, we can see the methods of the controllers have used to create the phony sphere, which confirms our flat Earth reality. Anyways.
So some dumb fuck who says boats can't go faster than 45 knots and the fact that you think that there's controllers. Who are the controllers? These guys? Are those the controllers?
Let's get to Airbase presentation. Enjoy.
Trying these for the first time. Reese's White. Interesting.
So, in this video, we are going to observe the speed of the boat.
Nice.
We will.
Dude, if any presentation that starts out with this on the wall is being given by a loser.
Prove that the official boat speed is false.
They always got to keep it in mind. We've seen that too many times so far. How different there is in these new modern boats that are going 3 or 4 clear of the other boats to start there, but they always got to keep it in mind. We've seen that too many times during this.
Yeah, you can see the differences already.
So why would they speed that up? That's my question.
What's this? Why'd you circle a sign on the road?
Doesn't make sense.
To
Just
make
to get it to
make
match.
it, remember, because they have certain distances that they have to travel in a certain time, because it needs to be a globe.
It's the same trick that NASA uses when they use the Earth moving underneath their ISS at the speed it goes in their live streams. It doesn't go that fast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Hey,
You see how those guys are bouncing around in there like this real fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just what you do when you're in a boat.
You can tell it's sped up.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you can tell it's sped up. Yeah.
Jeez.
Did you see what it looked like when they slowed it down by 25%? Shut the fuck up, racist. Uh-oh. What the hell? Is that what was dinging? What the shit? All right. Hold on. Well, my stream deck doesn't work for some fucking reason. What the fuck? Hmm. What the hell? Why the fuck doesn't it work? Huh. Anyway.
What would you
Otherwise, otherwise the Energizer bunnies or something. I don't know.
Hey, Flat, I wanted to say
This video.
Look, I do appreciate you having to get on a remedial level and 3 different explanations on the discussion that you just had with the gentleman that was just on.
Oh, with RED.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
Listen to this dumb shit. Oh my God.
The way that you were able to go back into it and put it in 3 different types of framework of explanation. It was totally understandable. Someone that doesn't want to see it is not going to see it, and that's the bottom.
Oh, someone who's then gullible won't see it. That's what he said. If you're not gullible, you won't see it.
But that's what I'm saying. he wanted me to specific that Mike from Debunk Show specifically wanted me to actually talk to that guy on his show. I
Right.
said, no, you can come to my show. They
Right.
thought they're going to have a got me.
Yeah.
That's what they thought they're going to have.
Yeah. I wish Saab would have got on too. So
I was trying, man. I was trying my
I was
damnedest.
like, where's my dude at?
Ended
But
up
yeah,
having to
but it's
restart
very
my
simple.
modem.
Yeah,
You're good.
but it's very simple. It's
Yeah, I just wanted to tell
how
you
much
that.
more can we explain it in a simpler way for these guys?
I mean,
No idea.
okay. Just had to put that out there though. Sorry to interrupt.
I got a question while you're on that. Why do they always use a feather? Because feathers are the least resistant thing to any kind of atmosphere.
What? What? What the fuck did you say? Feathers are the least resistant to anything in our atmosphere.
I got a question while you're on that. Why do they always use a feather? Because feathers are the least resistant thing to any kind of atmosphere. It's going to drop just as fast as anything else.
What?
It's aerodynamic as can get.
No, they aren't.
Even
like
in a vacuum.
But that's why I said they ignore.
Did this guy really fucking say that?
Ignoring the medium. They're ignoring the resistance. And that's why I was talking about aerodynamics specifically.
Yeah, exactly, Cygnus. An adult human in the 21st century said that feathers are the least resistant to anything in our atmosphere. Hey, Diver Dan.
Even in water, aerodynamics plays a role. Just like I said with the coin, it will go and it will swaft like this in because
Okay. But they weren't talking about a coin. So you wanted to take the conversation away from the topic and talk about a coin because you had nothing.
it has pushback. It has more force pushing back.
Yes.
So if you have to take that coin and put it in a vacuum, it has no thing to push, so it will just fall.
Yeah, another thing is, I asked previously, I said it on the chat. We know that gravity does not exist, but the question is, what really holds together this world? Maybe in the vacuum there are some kind of powers, forces, which we are not aware of. We can't understand it because we don't know they exist. That's a possibility.
Electricity holds everything together.
Say it again?
Everything's held together by electricity. But as far as the falling and rising, it's
In the Ferrocell image of spiral.
nothing more than a
Yeah,
simple
but what about
ratio
vacuum?
between the object
It's
and
not
the
nothing there.
medium.
Yeah.
You know, an object is never not subject to a medium.
Exactly.
Even in a vacuum, it's just
It's always something.
Just a different medium.
It's a thinner medium. That's all you've done.
It's just
And
less
so-
air.
And what Saab's talking about is
And then there's
molecular
no perfect
bonds are
vacuum, right?
electrically held together in a solid. Yeah. No, there's not.
Nature abhors a vacuum.
But when we hear a vacuum, everyone assumes there's nothing happening there. No, there's always something happening.
Right.
There's no other way.
That's right.
There's no perfect vacuum, for sure.
No perfect.
Perfect doesn't exist. Only God.
So a vacuum doesn't exist. Only God.
Then the misinterpretation that it's an average, 8.9 is just an average, and it does change with different variables. The Cavendish, which Saab goes into and explains how misleading that is, and I think you've touched on it as well, Flat. It has to do with other things other than some force pulling to mass.
Why? Why?
And that's one of the basic.
It just has to. I just really want it to.
Concepts a construct that they've kind of derived from the madness to hold this thing together, and then they compartmentalize it to where, oh, this is a truth that's separate from everything.
Good luck, Dan.
Uh-huh.
Like I told you before.
I suggest like an ace bandage, wrap it around there.
And that's what they did with the ether. That's what.
Get the ones that stick to themselves so you don't have to worry about that fucking little spiky clip thing.
They
There
did
is
with
no
everything.
perfect vacuum, and
I'm glad you touched on the Cavendish thing, because
as well.
Flats is doing a 2.0, right?
No, he's not. He said he's going to, but he's not. Same way as he's not going to make a second part to the video where Andrew shows him how he fucked up.
Sorry.
No worries. Like I was
I'm ready
saying,
for that
there's
one.
no perfect vacuum, yeah. And I said it before, and I said again, nobody's perfect as well.
Right.
My name is nobody.
Don't you curse the name of a great fucking Western.
I just want to say thank you, Matthew Easton, for your $5 for this.
Primary
Dear
school.
character lifting some weight, saying keep it up.
Yeah.
Give it a support, Dorothy. You rock. Appreciate
That's
the
funny.
support, man.
That is one of the best Westerns ever made.
It's a pair.
Oh, it's
Great
a
spheroid.
sticker.
That's
It's
why
a
I love
sticker.
so much English, because this double speak, you can really tilt it, twist it, change it. It's huge opportunity to play with the words in English.
Mm-hmm.
So in Polish, Janos means nothing or nobody? Sorry.
No, no. It's from exactly the translation would be John. That's the equivalence in the English language. The name John. Jan, John. It's exactly Jan, Janusz. Jan is like a, let's say.
That sounds awful close to Janus or Janus, which is the two-faced god. Yes. Terrence Spencer or Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer. You got it.
That would be
fucking best Western duo ever.
What the name? What name?
Like Jean.
William. Yeah, William is proper name. Yes. William.
Oh, instead of Billy.
Jan,
Yeah,
Janusz.
got you. Yeah. Yeah, I know plenty of people called Janusz in Coventry. There's loads of Polish people who call Janusz. Pavel as well, as in Paul. Pavel.
Back in the days, Pavel and Pete and Piotr.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, man. What the fuck?
Hey, why are you doing this? Why are you putting us in this fake Narnia? Come on.
Remove it. Travel.
So it travels through there.
Increasing the speed of a fluid. Of course, the decrease in static nullness 94 crash of the
Or about
going back to Fraserburgh, there was a 7 mile to Fraserburgh sign, and my dad always used to say that sign's wrong because he'd do it in the mileometer in the car or odometer, whatever you want to call it, and it was 4 mile, 3 mile difference. It said 7 mile from that sign, but it was 4 mile. My dad always said that was wrong. So I mean, they could be doing that. That might have just been a mistake, but they could be doing that, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that before about the distances. Like the town I lived in, it was supposed like 2 miles away from the next town, but it was like 1.5 miles.
But I mean, if you look at it, okay, there's the rod. Okay, yeah. But how's that going to know what speed you're traveling across the ground though?
Right.
Because it's just air pressures.
Of course.
So they are able to fake the speed then.
Absolutely.
How about looking up how a pitot tube works? How about that, Flatzoid? How does a pitot tube work? I knew it wouldn't. Measures fluid velocity by directly facing the oncoming flow, causing the fluid to come to a complete stop and creating a pressure known as stagnation pressure, which, when compared to surrounding static pressure, allows for the calculation of the fluid's velocity based on the pressure difference.
In this lesson from Free Pilot Training, we'll be discussing the pedostatic instruments, and we'll explain how those work.
Aircraft calling. Stay position.
In the last few lessons, we've been discussing the gyroscopic instruments, but today we're going to talk about 3 of those primary flight instruments that use air pressure to give us information. These are the airspeed indicator, the altimeter, and the vertical speed indicator. These instruments are provided air pressure from the pitot tube and the static port, and they turn it into information that's really important for pilots in flight. There are 3 types of air pressure that come into play when we talk about these instruments: static air pressure, dynamic air pressure, and total air pressure. Static pressure, which is also called ambient air pressure, is pressure that's caused by our atmosphere. This is always present whether the airplane is stopped or moving. And although it might seem unnoticeable to you, these air molecules push on everything in our atmosphere. The closer you are to the center of the Earth, the more tightly these air molecules are packed. And because they're packed so tightly at lower elevations, the lower your altitude, the higher your static air pressure is. And our airplanes use static ports to sense this type of air pressure. These are usually placed on the side so they're not affected by relative wind. Static air pressure is measured in inches of mercury. On a normal standard day, at sea level, the average air pressure is 29.92 inches of mercury. Now the air pressure isn't always 29.92 inches of mercury there, but this is about the average, so this is what we call standard air pressure. Then, every 1,000 feet above sea level, the pressure reduces by 1 inch of mercury. In the next lesson, we're going to go into a lot more detail about this and how the altimeter works, so if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. Now, anytime an object like an airplane moves through the air, it's impacted by the air molecules that it's traveling through. And this creates a certain amount of pressure on the object that's equal and opposite to the airplane's direction of travel. And this is called dynamic air pressure. And in order to understand how the pedostatic system works, you have to understand that this pressure is directly related to the speed at which the aircraft is flying. Next, we have the total air pressure. And this is a combination of dynamic and static air pressure. And while this may seem obvious at first, you'll see why we talk about this here in just a minute. Now, the altimeter uses the static port to sense the static pressure outside the aircraft. And because the static pressure changes 1 inch of mercury every 1,000 feet, the altimeter is able to give us an altitude reading because it senses that pressure. Now, as I mentioned before, static ports are placed on the side of aircraft. And this keeps the instruments from being affected by dynamic air pressure, and this keeps the readings as accurate as possible. The other instrument that uses a static port is the vertical speed indicator. This instrument allows air to escape or come in through a small hole which is vented through the static port. By allowing air to come in or go out, this instrument senses the pressure differences as we climb or descend. Then it gives us a reading in feet per minute. The airspeed indicator is a little bit different animal. It also receives air from the static port, but not for reasons you might think. The airspeed indicator measures the ram air that comes from relative wind through the pitot tube. But this doesn't give us an accurate measurement because static air actually makes its way into the pitot tube as well. And this is that total air pressure we were talking about earlier. And by taking static air from the static port, the airspeed indicator is able to offset any static air that might come in through the pitot tube. To keep the airspeed indicator as accurate as possible, the people who designed your airplane usually put the pitot tube in a spot where it won't be affected by the prop wash. But there is something that can affect your airspeed indicator, and that's the angle of the pitot tube in relation to the relative wind. High angles of attack in different airplane configurations can affect the accuracy of your airspeed indicator. And that's because weird angles can make it difficult for the ram air to enter the pitot tube. Every airplane's different, but every airplane has some kind of error caused by this, and the manufacturers account for this by putting a chart in the POH. This is what we call calibrated air.
So it does calibrate and compensate for wind speed. That's what I wanted to know.
It's just
Called a pedostatic tool is what measures the speed of this F-16 and any other plane in the sky. Knowing the airspeed is crucial for the pilot because the plane will crash if the speed is too low. Airspeed indicator failure has led to many crashes in the past. Just these 4, the ones you can see on the screen, took 494 lives. Not a single soul survived, because in all these cases the plane smashed into the ground or the ocean.
Okay. I want him to explain to us.
It's intuitive. They measure the rotation speed of the wheels, and by
Wait, did he? What?
is crucial for the pilot because the plane will crash if the speed is too low. Airspeed indicator failure has led to many crashes in the past. Just these 4, the ones you can see on the screen, took 494 lives. Not a single soul survived, because in all these cases the plane smashed into the ground or the ocean.
No, that would be a fault of the altimeter, not the fucking wind speed indicator. The fuck is this guy talking about?
Okay. I want him to explain to us.
It's intuitive. They measure the rotation speed of the wheels, and by knowing their diameter, we can get the ground speed with a simple equation. But it's different with planes. Since there aren't any mechanical parts that can translate to speed, we have to look for other ways. Bernoulli's principle, which states that an increase in the speed of a fluid, occurs with a decrease in static pressure, can help us to determine the airspeed. The pitot-static tube consists of a central hole, which is aimed at the direction of travel, and outside holes, which are perpendicular to the direction of travel.
So it travels through there.
Right.
Okay.
We can now shoot.
Yeah.
Outside holes measure static pressure. This is the pressure we all experience, no matter whether are we moving or not. It's
Why are you doing this? Why are you putting us in this fake Narnia? Come on.
Look at
They
that.
had to bend it like Beckham, dude.
That's lovely scattered cloud cover there. Oh, it almost
Yeah.
looks like snow on top of mountains.
Oh wow.
People don't pay attention to that, though, do they? Honestly.
So in
It's
other
gotta be
words,
real.
because they just take pressures, they're able to fake their speeds then.
No, they don't fake their speed, you dumb fuck.
So how can you really trust that the plane really flies the speed they claim?
Because of science, stupid. Because of physics.
Go to the MBSP site and see how they actually determine it. The people who did the pitch data stuff, they have it on their site, I'm sure. There's the safety people.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, now they say flight plans, okay? Now they're like saying, oh, but look at the distance you traveled with the speed. How do you know that you traveled that distance, first of all? And how do you know that speed is what you traveled? Because it's...
I don't know. Nobody's done shit for anything, man. Everybody just sat on their fucking ass for the past 2,000 years and hadn't done a goddamn thing. Haven't figured shit out at all. We just sat around waiting for fucking flat earthers to come along and clue us in. Hey, you are Victoria, what's up?
It's calculated. It's not measured. It's actually just calculated based on pressure.
Jesus
I tell you, the best way to do it is put mile markers in the sky. Class.
No, but what I'm trying to make my point is they can fake it. So when they say, okay, I've flown 4 hours at 900 kilometers an hour, they could have flown 4 hours and not the distance they claimed at a different.
That makes it a different equation. Same equation but different numbers. Different outcome.
Yeah, so let's say they say, okay, we fly from Johannesburg to Cape Town. It takes an hour to fly there, and we're traveling 600 kilometers an hour. Maybe the distance isn't what they claim, and the distance is actually shorter. Your time getting there is an hour, but your speed is different. Your speed is, let's say, 500 kilometers an hour.
So when does the distance from one point to another change, Flatzoid? When does that happen? At what point does someone change the distance between two land masses?
But you get to destination in an hour because the distance is not what was computed with this end.
Okay, for example, sometimes I experience that myself.
So you don't calculate the distance when you're doing all that? Just doesn't happen? Yeah, retarded and proud of it. Hey, Drunk the Monk Show. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? I mean, these guys are just dumb. They're scared because they know the Earth isn't flat. They just want it to be so much, and they're just scared of facing reality.
But we had a half an hour flight delay, and let's say flight's supposed to be 3 hours 20 minutes. So we're supposed to come half an hour later, roughly, yeah. But sometimes we even came before time, the scheduled time. So we were 30 minutes delayed, and we came like at even 10 minutes earlier, so 40 minutes. So it means they were flying faster. So you can't really know.
Hey, Umball.
Know how fast they are flying. You just can't know. You don't know. Just believe, because it's average speed. Yeah.
Well, how do they
As I
come to
said-
that average, though?
So it's all just calculated speeds. It's not actually
Exactly.
measured speeds.
No. It's got to be.
And I think this is something we actually have to bring up whenever a glober tries to, oh, but you know, the distances only work on a globe with speed. Not actually. You can't, first of all, prove those are the distances. And you can't prove those are the speeds the plane flew.
You better prove your ball first.
They haven't done that yet, dude. I promise.
I'm not having it only works on a globe. You better prove that globe first if you're making that sort of remark.
It's been proven. It's proven 2,500 years ago, man. 2,300, whatever. And every year since.
Well, they say that proves the globe is their calculations.
But I mean,
that's all.
let's, for instance, even look at a boat like the Vendee race. What happens if you're hitting a current that's actually pulling you back? You still look like you're going forward, but you're actually going backwards.
What? Oh my God! They keep getting better. So a current will make you look like you're going forward when you're going backwards.
Probably get that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know? How do you know how much knots you're actually traveling? You computing.
Well, in Mike in the Vendee race, they're not allowed to use GPS. They have to do it either with dead reckoning or celestial navigation, but they can't use GPS. They can't be in contact with the outside world. Their crews will know where they are based on GPS, but they won't on the boat.
You are traveling forward.
So we know how fast they're going based on their speed based on GPS, Fkatzoid. People in the boat don't know that, but the people on shore do.
With, let's say, 20 knots. In the meantime, you're traveling backwards or sideways. So
Jesus Christ.
It's an estimate.
I mean, it's like listening to a toddler repeat what he heard the big kids say in school. It's all it is.
It has to be.
Mm-hmm. It has to be.
It has to be.
Always there, and we're acclimated to it. At the same time, the central hole measures stagnation pressure, which is a sum of dynamic and static pressures. This is the pressure we experience when moving. Bernoulli's equation states that stagnation pressure equals static pressure plus dynamic pressure. In other words, dynamic pressure, which is the pressure that will tell us the speed, is the difference between stagnation and static pressure. By calculating the difference, we can get the airspeed through this formula. All aircraft measure the speed using the same principles, although the tubes can look.
And what if it's a windy day? And
That compensates for that. The formula compensates for that. The device itself compensates for that.
it's blowing more air into it. Does that change your airspeed now?
Hey, TXAG.
Yeah. I mean,
If it's a warm day, the air is going to be traveling
Faster.
slower too. Yeah, faster. Yeah.
Interesting.
Faster, yeah. Slower. Slower, yeah. Slower, yeah. Faster, yeah. God damn it, man. Tell us you're in a cult without saying the words, dude.
Stuff.
Look different. On fighter jets, they're usually placed right in the nose and can measure both pressures. But on commercial planes, there is usually a tube in the front that measures stagnation pressure and a hole on the side that measures static pressure. On small planes, the tube is combined, like on fighter jets.
Oh, behave.
Oh,
Brenda, don't watch this, please.
and located on a V. Pitot-static tubes are also used in helicopters, ships, and even in Formula 1 cars. But if the pitot tube will clog, it can lead to incorrect speed readings, which is dangerous. Dirt,
Good, actually, if it's clogged, that can read to incorrect speed reading.
Man, that wasp is having a bad fucking day.
Readings.
Did a bird fly into it?
Well, that's a hornet by the looks of it. It's a big
It's actually a wasp.
big old hornet, isn't it?
I think
It's a murder hornet, man. Trying to crash our plane.
Because it's a race. It's a challenge for your seamanship, not just to read a GPS unit. You have to know navigation. It's a round the world race.
But I think we've made the point. Yeah, they can't claim the distances and speeds because it's all calculations. It's not actual measurements. So we have all the right to say, prove it.
Yeah.
Prove that you claim that.
We've proven it, Flatzoid. The burden's on you to prove that the Earth is flat. You haven't done that.
That's the distance and the speed they traveled in that time. Prove it.
This is what I've been saying about these maps.
Let's see. They go from one point to another, and we know how far apart those things are. And we know how fast they're going because of GPS. And we know how to calculate shit based on speed and distance. So, been proven, dude. It's been proven.
Maps the whole time. I'm like, look, you've got measured statute miles.
No, they can't. They can have GPS units on board, but they do not have access to those units. That information is sent to their teams on shore. I mean, it's what it says. Where was it? Anyway, I looked it up, but no, they're not allowed to use GPS.
Along with calculated distances that are across the large majority of the entire map. And especially when you get south of the equator, and now everything's based on relative movement and time. And that's it. You don't have any.
Why? Why would it be based on relative movement and time? We know how far apart things are. We know where the sun is based on it's where it is in the sky at any point in time. We can figure where we are based on that. It's called celestial navigation. Plus, we have GPS. So what's the problem? Only a fucking hillbilly butt crack dirt person would fucking disagree with that.
Celestial north.
Just a fucking ignorant dirt person.
You know, and it's real easy for them to just put anything wherever the hell they want to down there.
Oh, okay.
Well,
then why didn't they put it so that the distances work out right? Why didn't they do that? Because your flat Earth doesn't work like that, dude. Australia is like twice as wide as it should be, or it really is.
None of the Celestials actually sit still down there, do they?
But when you wrap that shit back around the globe where it came from, distances work, dude. Everything works right. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to understand that or why it's so hard to understand, but distances south of the equator on a flat Earth map don't work. They don't match reality. But when you wrap that back around the globe where it came from before you stretched it all out of shape like your mom's box, then things work.
No points you can actually reference. So there's no way to get an average like that. You're subject to every element.
Right. The people on shore have access to that information, and they radio to the people to correct their course if they run into a problem.
There is, right?
Yeah.
I just want to say, Taking Better Eden, thank you for $2. It says, any uncut of Earth videos from India, China, US? No. Exactly.
Any uncut? Any uncut of Earth videos. The fuck are you talking? What the fuck does that? Is that even English? Any uncut of Earth videos from India, China, US? No.
Always edited stuff. Really appreciate the super chat. Thank you back. Taking back Eden. You rock. And by the way, guys, we got 71 likes. I'm sure we can get it up to 100. Please. I mean, we've got the votes say, after 126 votes, 41% say yes, no 44%. We know who that is. And about to 15%. So come, let's get at least 30 likes more. It really, really does help the channel. You guys rock. Whew.
El rocketh.
Why is it so hot?
Because it's middle of the summer, man.
Ah.
It's colder
just
than
now
lovely
becoming-
out here. We had spring yesterday. Now we're having winter again today. We're supposed to get freezing rain tonight.
Oh, you
It's
get
like 60 degrees.
Why would it be so cold or so hot where he is and so cold where you are? Why? The angle to the sun on a flat Earth is not that different.
Yesterday, I went outside in just a shirt, played with the dogs after work, and no problem.
I mean, your angle to the sun at sunrise is between sunrise and noon is more drastic than your angle at noon between your two places. So why would it be different seasons? See, seasons don't work on a flat Earth. There's absolutely no reason why there shouldn't be one season.
Problem, right? Went out to let
Jesus.
them out today. I'm like, no way. I'm going out there. No way.
Why the America is using Fahrenheit, not like a
Oh, uncut launch videos. Okay, that makes sense.
normal world Celsius? I don't get it.
It's like I was watching a gamer live stream and I heard the dumbest question I've ever heard in my life. What do you like on a sandwich? Or what do you put on a sandwich? What do you like on a sandwich? They're like, what kind of sandwich? There's like a sandwich. What do you like on a sandwich? So, well, what kind? It doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. See, I like jelly on my peanut butter sandwich, but I don't think I'd want jelly on my fucking chicken sandwich. You know?
I know. We need to get the rest of the world converted over to this screwy ass.
It's a SI. It's a SI system. All world works on a SI. Fahrenheit is not an SI. So I don't get it.
No. See, the rest of the world.
Fahrenheit's more accurate.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the
rest
freezing
of the world
temperature?
wrong.
0 degrees,
Listen,
yeah? It's 0.
Don't
Not
start
freaking
making a
minus
fuss
whatever.
about it.
70.
We'll get Trump signing executive orders making all you fucking go standard, man. You guys ain't using metric. No more
Should be
metric.
SI, I'm telling
Anybody
you.
that uses metrics, we're just going to bomb you and put tariffs on it. You know?
Or
See,
like
we use metric.
We gotta speed this shit up.
Over here as
Colour
well.
and stuff.
But Fahrenheit is more accurate, I heard, isn't it, than centigrade or Celsius? But I use Celsius as well. I'm decimalized. But it's weird. I'm decimalized, but yet I am still 5'11". You know?
Over here, I didn't start using metrics till I was like 12 years old, man. Been using standard wrenches most of my life.
Yeah. And what gets me is you get in working on something,
Now, if
half
we
of
try-
it's metric and half of it's standard, and it's like, oh, come on. You don't make up your mind. You got metric shit hooked up to standard stuff. It's like, give me a break here.
I was thinking that they would get rid of changing time, from the winter to summer and from summer to winter. 1 hour plus, 1 hour minus. Because, to be honest, there is no point at this point to have it. Because that was only invented for the purpose to save the candles. So
Yes, Flatzoid is saying that sailors can't know their speed or position ever. They just lost at sea. The minute you fucking weigh anchor, man, you're done. You can't get home ever, no matter where you are.
guys will need to go so early, it was dark and so on. So to save the money on candles, on the streets, on lamps. So now we have electricity, so we don't need to have freaking summertime, wintertime. They can change it to one time, no? But no, still freaking twice a year.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this video. from Phuket Word, where he places. Thank you, Wolfie, for showing a shrinking sun.
Oh,
with
yeah.
a, with a with a solar filter. So I think this is quite cool, because doesn't the globe claim you can't have the sun shrinking?
They claim it, but it's a stupid claim.
But that's only on the ground.
Yeah, but remember, they claim because it's 93 million miles away, it shouldn't change angular size. So that's just a claim debunked once again. Yes, proving the sun is not 93 million miles away, correct?
Well, that Chris Van Metre guy debunked this in about 2016.
I remember that,
Yeah.
where he actually walked through the forest and did it in different times as well, following the sun during the day.
That's the thing with ballers. They just parrot what the next baller say.
Guys, I make you jealous now. I'm eating now Polish kielbasa. In America, probably you know what kielbasa is. It's not sausage, it's kielbasa. So if you have a chance, try it, guys. You will love it, believe me.
Giannis, I have some in the fridge right now, by the way.
Polish one? Kielbasa?
No, it's American kielbasa. That's what
Yeah, if it's American kielbasa, it means it was made by the Polish guys.
Nice.
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. When you point out to a...
Did you say he's Polish? God, please. Don't let the inside thoughts out.
globe Earth believer that horizons are created in our eyes because of perspective governing our vision and any observations that we make, showing us that the surface is level.
No, it's not at all how that works there, dumb fuck.
And we see the sun rising and setting because of perspective as the sun goes off.
No, we don't. We see it rising and setting because our planet spins
Into the distance rather than the Earth spinning around to make the sun rise and set. You'll often be met with the challenge to then show that the sun shrinks in angular size as it goes.
Right, in relationship to how far away it would go if it was about 3,000 miles over our head. Not that you can manage to catch it shrinking a few pixels this way and never this way. Not that. See, if I've got a car and you say this car is moving at 100 miles an hour directly away from me, and that car only gets about that much smaller, I'm going to say you're full of shit. Now, if it got really small, I'd say, yeah, it's moving away pretty quick, because that's how perspective works. Perspective works both this way and this way.
Goes off into the distance and sets. And we can see here in this footage by P900 Cool Pics, otherwise known as Sandra, that the sun does indeed shrink in angular size as
I'll put Phuket Words link in for you guys if you want to go watch it. Very good.
it goes off into the distance. Now, here's some of my own footage.
I mean, this is the saddest fucking channel name I've ever read. And they're a flat earther, of course. Autodidactic girl means self-taught. Means self-indoctrinated.
Taken from Phuket in southern Thailand, so it's quite near the equator, and you can see that the sun goes off in more or less a straight line here compared to Sandra's footage, which showed the sun going diagonally as it headed off into the distance. We can see the reflection on the water, and another important thing to bear in mind.
Right, that's, you don't have a solar filter on the lens, so it's irrelevant, completely useless as data.
Seeing the sun get cut off before it shrinks to an infinitesimally small dot is that we can only see across the surface a short distance, a few miles, with any clarity. Because we are quite close to the surface, we might be about 2 meters above the surface here. So the distance to the horizon that we see on the surface is not very far compared to the distance that we can see in the transparent sky, which is maybe many hundred miles or 1,000 or more miles. Obviously, the cloud and the haze on top or above the surface is going to contribute to the sun being cut off. And we also have the fact that because of the change in angular size in everything that we see, those clouds in the distance are just a thin line on top of the horizon. It's part of the horizon at that great distance, even though that column of cloud might...
Glober song on the chat. We can watch it later, so you will know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a flat world after all.
See, they love to quote refraction until it doesn't work so well for them. Then they ignore it. That's what they're doing there. See, that's what you're seeing is you're seeing the glare of the sun go away. You're seeing the glare of the sun go away. That's what a solar filter does. It takes that glare away and lets you see the true disk of the sun.
That's all I got to say. There's no doubt about it. There's so many proofs for flat Earth. It's incredible.
I was going to tell JK, we got a place out in just outside of Detroit called Hamtramck that is a Polish community. It was like when there was a bunch of Polish immigrants came here, and that's like where they settled. And on Fat Tuesday, we get these great big old fat jelly rolls.
Yes.
Called
Okay, what is in Poland? Yep.
Punchkis. And man, those are a tradition.
It's
They can't
donuts,
keep those
but it's
things
not
in
like
stock
donut.
on Fat
It's a
Tuesday.
different story. You try it?
What? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think so. They're much better than the American one. That's really freaking fat. It's called.
Yeah, man. They're about this big, man.
Yes. Yeah. They are made in full in oil. Just flip sides when you finish that, and sometimes it's like a jello, jam, whatever inside, whatever you want to put there. Yeah, freaking awesome, man. It's called Fat Thursday in Poland.
Okay, yeah, they have it Fat Tuesday here.
All right,
Fat
Tuesday.
Right before Lent.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are making me hungry. Stop it.
Okay, let's see Wolfie debunk the globe again, like he usually does.
So here is some footage by Wolfie 6020 of the sun setting off Sydney, Australia, using a solar filter. And now Wolfie 6020 is an ardent globe believer. He doesn't really like flat earthers. And in his mind here, the sun is not changing in angular size as it sets. Because of the filter and the darkness.
No, it's not. Now, once it starts getting close to the horizon, the atmosphere will make it, will refract it. And it'll make it look like it's shorter this way, but never this way.
We can't see any reference to how high this footage was actually
It's
taken
changing
above.
your eyes, man.
You can see it. You can see it.
Yes.
This is up a bit, definitely. Like, there's definitely some more.
Hey, can I share screen?
Yeah, stop sharing quickly.
Yeah, this is just his first little part of this. This is watch this thing. Oh no, what's happening to it?
Oh
no!
It seems to be staying the same size. Of.
Wow!
Oh my god!
I wanted to show you because, Punchki, Favorki, and so on, but the freaking link is so long. I can write for you what you can type in the.
I mean, all they got to do is show how the geometry works with the sun 3,000 miles overhead, how it could possibly look like it's at the horizon, without using a made-up atmospheric dome of fucking observation or some bullshit. Show geometrically how it works. You failed with the angles to Polaris. You failed there. So
browser, and you will see the picture.
Good luck with the sun.
Just how it looks like. So just give me a second.
So that's from my sunset with the solar filter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can definitely see the
Look at
bottom
that
of it
difference.
reflecting. Yeah.
It's a big difference. Big difference. Nice.
Let's use
So
the face and
in the Navy.
I got a question about Whoopies right there. The cutoff point is so straight like a line. He has no reflection at all.
He's got solar filter on there, Roger.
Oh yeah, there you go.
The surface, but you can see that it sets there. Let's just play that one more time. And at first glance, it doesn't seem to appear to change in angular
Yeah, you can
size.
see it.
But Wolfie's just put this footage up here, and he hasn't made any measurements of this observation. So I've taken this footage and I've put it into GIMP.
Who are you calling a GIMP? Who are you calling a GIMP, man?
I've got GIMP, but don't know how to use it.
I know I've got GIMP on the laptop. I think Paul put it on there before he passed me the laptop.
So, Peter, you get your laptop from Paul? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't get it yet. I gave Paul the money for
I don't know if he drives or not.
it. He got it for me. Then I gave him the money for it because I trusted him in what to get. You know what I mean? He knew better than me what about computers. So yeah, he didn't buy me it, sort of thing. He actually paid for it without me knowing. You know what I mean? But and then I gave him the money afterwards. He didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? I didn't ask him to do that, but he did do that. But yeah, no, he didn't pay for it. And then I gave him the money for it, obviously. But
Yeah, that's for a lot of people, didn't he?
Yeah, he did actually. I trusted him into computers. You know. So.
I had a message off him yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. 'Cause I asked him if he could remember me because he cleaned my laptop up, and took everything off it, freed all the space up and that. And he changed my password, and I can't remember it. So I messaged him to ask if he could remember my password. And he messaged me back yesterday.
Oh, cool. Did he say
So
anything
he's
about
okay. So he's doing okay.
I don't know.
he just basically told you what you wanted to know.
Yeah.
But thinking of that now, guys, this month sometime, I'm just waiting. There's going to be an awesome observation being presented over 150 miles. Really, really awesome. And a awesome song coming out that he's been working hard on. I'm not going to say who it is or what it is, but just say keep tuned for this month. There's going to be some a very awesome development, observation, and a song.
Brilliant.
And the song kind of gives some clue to who it is, maybe.
Yeah, I think I know.
Nah, I don't know. I don't think you guys know.
No, okay. he's holding out on us.
It's not me.
Are you being deceptive? Just checking. Hey, Fkatzoid.
So in order to measure whether there is a difference or a change in the angular size of the sun, I've taken 3 screenshots of the footage we saw just now at different times as the sun.
Right. This one before it enters the thicker part of the atmosphere. this where it just enters it, and then this where it's just before sunset? Okay, go ahead.
Was setting and then cropped and layered them. So you can see over here I've got the top layer here and then the middle layer, all right, and then the bottom layer under that. So nothing has been changed in terms of size, but just the different strips are being cropped so that we can place all of them on the same image and then make some measurements. So with another layer, I've already done this, but I'll take you through the process. I created a circle that fits snugly with the top one, which would be the largest, and we should then see whether or not there's a change from the size of this circle as we put it around the other two. So let me just zoom in on this so you can see it better. All right.
You can already see it, Les.
Basically, what I did is I took the ellipse tool and then drew around it, and then moved that so it was then placed over the second one to see if there's any change.
I'm sure there's a proper angular size measuring thing on that GIMP. I'm sure there is.
There has to be.
Straight away. There is.
An angular size measurement thing? You mean a ruler? You mean a ruler?
Yeah, you can already see. Look at it. It's already changing size.
Yeah, because it's being refracted. But notice left to right, it's not changed size, Fkatzoid. It hadn't changed size left to right. Changed size left to right. It should though, if perspective is the reason, right?
Squished it right up.
Like it's actually moving away from you.
Yeah, weird.
No, if it was moving away from you, the sides it would still be spherical, and it would just be smaller in all directions. That's how perspective works.
What fits snugly around the sun at the top now shows a larger circle than the...
I mean, when you draw perspective, do you only draw lines coming in this way, or do you make them come in on the sides too?
Size of the sun, so the sun has shrunk in that respect. And if we then go down to the bottom, we can see that there's an even more dramatic change in the...
Right, because of refraction, because the sides are still haven't changed angular size. So it's not changing angular size, it's being affected by the atmosphere, dipshit.
Size of the sun compared to the original size of the sun when it was at the top right of the screen. Okay, of course you can do this yourself. You don't have to believe me. Just the other day to show you how the clouds contribute to the sun setting and cutting off the sun at sunset.
Yep, that also happens. Thank you. Thank you, Becky, for your $2. Says hi.
Yes, it affects the sun because they go behind the clouds before they go behind the earth. Before it goes behind the earth. See, we don't see the sun earlier because of clouds.
Noon versus horizon. They rotate away from the sun 6 kilometer miles. 6 kilometer eye.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Taking back Eden, you rock. But yeah, the horizon's flat, guys. No doubt about that.
Well, I think their excuse for the angular size change would be that we're moving back from the sun. We're spinning away from it. So I don't think that they have.
No, that's not at all what we say.
Any other way to go with it?
No, they don't. But I mean, I've seen a lot of what the globe is trying.
Nice straw man, though.
Claim there's no angular size change, and then you go look at it, and there's definitely angular size change.
No, there's not. There's no angular size change on the width. So you look at the whole thing, all directions, Fkatzoid. You're not doing that. You're being a lazy person. You're being a lazy scientist.
Yeah.
It's not an argument, is it?
No, not really. Again, guys, the sun changing angular size does not do anything other than just showing the sun's local. That's it. Does it prove a flat Earth or globe Earth? No. But it does destroy the claim made that it's 93 million miles away.
No, it doesn't. Why would it destroy that? You not understanding perspective doesn't destroy the fact that the sun is 93 million miles away because we've measured it.
Well, it's pretty simple. It's like this. Look, if I have this object right now, right, and I'm up close to you with it,
and you measured it,
I move it closer and back. Okay, I'm going to go out arm's length and then back to my face.
Right? Yes. It changed. See, we can still read it. It's not all stretched. It's not all compressed this way. It got smaller this way and this way.
Okay, now let me move back. Move all the way back here. Now see how much difference there is when I'm with you.
Yeah. You think the sun would have to move at least that far? But yet we don't see that much of a change in the sun, do we?
Not much.
Barely
No.
any, dude. Yeah.
Big difference. Big difference. I don't know why these people would live their whole life with eyeballs.
But it still changes in both directions, up and down and left and right, and this way and this way and that way, all different ways.
And don't know how the hell they work.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like the shirt.
Wait, what did this dumb shit just say? This ironic fucking statement coming from this racist hillbilly fuck.
All the way back here. Now see how much difference there is. When I'm with you.
Not much.
Barely
No.
any, dude. Yeah.
Big difference. Big difference. I don't know why these people would live their whole life with eyeballs and don't know how the hell they work.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like the shirt, Saab. I didn't
I
see it
know.
till just now.
I know why they don't, because people told them they see what they don't see, and they believe it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, bro.
They don't understand perspective at all, do they? They don't get it.
It's mad because it's not that hard.
If I had a lingerie company, I'd sell brasiers to very large women, like very well endowed women, and I'd call it the Trust Me Bra.
And the most funny thing is that the guys who are painters, and they're painting this kind of perspective, the buildings, the roads, and so on.
Yeah, I watched it.
And they can't get the idea out of the flat earth. They still believe in the globe. How you can still believe in the globe earth if you're a painter, professional painter? I just don't get it.
Yeah, they know how light works and all that kind of stuff, shadows,
Yeah, painters know that perspective works in both directions. That's what painters know. Children know that. You don't.
Perspective, you'd think they know.
I had a conversation with one time, and he actually said, I can walk forever because the earth is spinning. I'm like, that's his mentality, man. That's insane. You're never going to get anywhere because the earth's spinning.
That's what he assumes. Tell him go north all the time, and tell him that we'll see if you pass 60th parallel. Okay, let's see what happens. When they try to stop you, keep pushing.
Where's the guns, Nathan?
Won't be between us, alive any longer.
I mean, these people are dumb. Just fucking simpletons.
Short flight time at Punta Arenas to Union Glacier. The time lapse is from December 14, 2024. It starts about an hour before landing, right as the peninsula was ending and the mainland was coming into view. After a short time above the frozen ground, we begin to see the mountains in the distance and eventually turn towards them, landing on a blue ice natural runway. Unfortunately, the camera falls off the window just seconds before landing. You can see the landing on my chest cam footage, but this camera was on the floor. Sorry. Okay. Shame.
It just brings up balls out physics explanation of east-west runways and north-south runways, and how do you land on it if it's actually moving?
Mm-hmm.
North, east, southwest. It's exactly the news from around the world. That's what it is.
I want to know, since he did this, why didn't they show us them flying over the ocean?
What was their altitude? When they was during the flight, what was the apex of their altitude?
Yeah, look how low they're flying. It doesn't look very high.
I would say close to 12,000 feet, almost 15,000 feet, what I'm looking at, just by eyeballing it. They're not very high, no.
Look how dark that sky gets.
Yeah.
And you see, just in flying in, check there, the difference. You can see the difference in light. We didn't see that difference while they were there.
That almost looks like cloud cover, doesn't it? But the shadows give it away.
Yeah, look. There's the shadow from the clouds. Low-lying clouds.
All right.
Oh, we're in the cloud cover, aren't we?
A little bit.
That sky almost starts to look like what you'd see up at about 100,000 feet.
Mm.
You know, how
It does get dark quickly.
things up dark.
Almost like a sun that was setting.
Yeah.
It never sets in Antarctica, but I'm getting that from both sides now. Everybody's saying it's definitely a 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
No.
Flat Earthers and globe earthers, both.
If it was, they wouldn't have had to pull all the bullshit that they did.
I didn't really find that, mate.
They didn't pull any bullshit, asshole.
And like we said before,
I mean, you can keep yelling fraud, fake all you want, but there was none.
they would have opportunity for people that would create 24-hour sun. Come and see. And Germany, there's nothing like that. It would be 100%. But there is no. Sometimes the things which are not told speak the loudest.
Yeah. You read between the lines pretty easy. Last night on my channel, I took Scott through the footage of the 24-hour midnight sun, and I said, did you watch all that? Did you actually get that was a 24-hour sun? He's like, no. I go, Same here. But he was saying that there was a 24-hour sun and they've known it, even in the flat Earth community. So I didn't get it. It's weird.
First of all, no promise stream. Second of all, we watched the video with the guy who said that Duffy will call him during the stream. He didn't.
Yep.
That's only just those two arguments. FT is done.
Oh, and Jaron didn't say set. He said scene. No set.
It's showing God.
No, he said since. He didn't say set. He said since.
Godfrey's live right now, but if I go to his channel, it's showing he's not live. He still hasn't replied to me. I've emailed him twice.
What they have? Excuses. That's it.
I say, you want Dr. Finn, David?
Godfrey is one of the characters from, what's it called? Awaken Earth or Awaken... What is it? Flat Earth Awakenings. I'm still on. Yeah, still timed out.
Weiss. Interviewing that Dr. Shiva guy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've heard they've been talking about that.
We really need to stop that guy from.
Ayudari, talking about the guy who invented email. Yeah, Ayudari.
Shiva.
Ayudari, yes.
Shiva.
Yeah, Shiva was. I watched a minute of it, and it was like he was, okay, I'm doing you a favor. I'm just here. I'm just going to act like.
Yeah, it was bad and all that, Shiva. Like he didn't know what he was talking about. But David, we really need to stop that guy talking to people.
I remember I was.
He's everywhere.
It was Jesse Hall. He has a platform, nearly 1,000 interviews, and there was a guy who was huge supporter of Trump. So I challenged him one question, and I said, no, Trump is great. He's bringing the situations, and so on. So I dropped a few more things. And I said, oh, you don't respect me, I just made you a favor. I replied to your post. I was like, no, I say nothing. Oh, what the fuck, ego? Too big to contain in the room,
Wolfie brought out the video 22 hours ago.
About what?
Equatorial Mount. Debunks the flat Earth. Oh, okay.
How so?
Let's see.
You got reference to equatorial plane to get that right.
He says equatorial mounts confirm we live on a globe. Flat Earth is still can't figure out why. Okay, let's see. It's only a minute longer.
So I hope everybody is well. I'm currently in Dallas in the USA doing my annual training, but anyone that has followed my channel since the beginning knows that I have numerous videos demonstrating why an equatorial mount cannot work on a flat Earth.
Yet an equatorial mount literally requires a flat plane to function.
No, it doesn't.
Cannot work in the flat Earth.
It cannot work. Yeah, you're right.
This is bad as
He just shoot himself in the foot, in this argument.
So mad to say that.
It's people.
It's the only way it does work.
Why the equatorial mount confirms
An equatorial mount on a flat Earth would have to track stars in two axes.
we live on a globe. Now, unfortunately, and this is not intended as an insult, but the typical flat earther you will encounter lacks the intelligence to understand how an equatorial mount works.
Literally an insult. You just claim not to insult and then you insult.
No,
it's not intended to be an insult.
Use his brain and doesn't believe in the program perception.
Your lack of understanding and education is not an insult. It's a problem that you need to fix.
Of reality. That's the difference.
That's just pure projection.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, equatorial mount is literally just a mount. It just takes a rotation. You don't have to track anything. It's not tracking anything.
No, it's not like it's hooked to it.
And you have to level that mount to the plane of the equator, right? That's a fact.
No, you don't. You don't. The equator has nothing to do with it.
But I mean, I actually need a plate to do this. Be back.
What kind of plate is he going to get? That's the question. Is it going to be white, red?
Dinner?
Oh, there you go. White. I was right.
Just to let you know, Globus, this is round. So when you say you live on a round Earth, yeah, I agree. Not a sphere. Okay. Let me try.
Okay. So take a circle, draw it on your ceiling, stand over in a corner, and try and track that circle with an equatorial mount in only one axis.
Try and explain this. Let's take the equatorial plane. The equatorial mount just follows this plane of reference. So if your mount...
No, it doesn't. It pivots around its main rotational axis, which is aligned with the Earth's rotational pole.
Is situated this way, it's literally taking a rotation 15 degrees an hour, whatever you set it to, that way. Do it this way, does exactly the same. Do it this way, does exactly the same. Doesn't matter what orientation you put in, it's literally just a circle taking a rotation of 360 degrees. That's it. There is no shape around it that's determined by this plate.
Hey, Flats, can you dumb it down for me a little bit more? I didn't get all that.
Oh man.
And therefore, years later, they still don't understand why the equatorial mount proves we live on a globe. But I just wanted to make this video to bring your attention to a video on Dave McKeegan's channel. Dave recently went to Antarctica with an equatorial mount and filmed the 24-hour sun. And he here gives a very good explanation of how the equatorial mount works. So just remember, when you're dealing with a flat earther and you bring up the topic of equatorial mounts, they literally will lack the intelligence to understand what you're talking about. Go and enjoy Dave's video.
Sorry.
That wasn't an insult at all. No.
Wow, is that it?
Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, brilliant.
So he's actually just he made a video.
That's lame.
Yeah, he made a video to insult Zados by saying he's not insulting them, and then he shouted out Dave McKeegan's channel.
That's it.
Which literally Dave McKeegan makes my point. It's just a rotation. It's a rotation of a plate, you could say. Let's play another thing. Let's say this is what you're tracking moving in the sky. It's just going this way. Okay? You can set it to follow the rotation. Heck, you can set it this way. It follows the rotation. It doesn't actually track the thing you're trying to observe. It literally just, you set a plane of reference of 360 degrees and it just rotates for 360 degrees.
Wow, what a fucking retard. Wow.
Until it finally makes a full rotation. So guess what happens, Globies? If you see a star at 6 o'clock at night when you start in the position, guess what happens? Tomorrow, it's going to be there again. Why? Because it takes a circuit. That doesn't mean you've literally tracked it going underneath the ground. It's moved away.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. That's why it doesn't work on a flat Earth. It most certainly does. And like I said, get an equatorial mount and draw a circle on your ceiling. Do it in tape. Right? Make a tape circle on your ceiling. Stand over in a corner and rotate that thing in one axis. And see if you can track it in one axis. I bet you can't.
Away from you, and thanks to things called perspective, it appears to go into the convergence zone. Then it comes back the other side because it has taken its full rotation to come back. Can I make it dumber for them?
I don't think so. It's possible.
No, you've pretty much made it dumb all on your own, dude. Well done.
But they will still won't understand that, you know.
The mechanics behind an equatorial mount literally requires a flat plane to work.
No matter what approach your view between here and there. Yeah.
Even the globe measurements are flat measurements, which is so funny.
It's insane. These guys just, they don't get it. Okay, guys, we're 6 likes away from 100. Woohoo. Please do. Hit the likes if you haven't already. Wow.
Cinnamon bears and orange slices are the best candy to eat together.
You got a great name for your channel, Perspective. It just works.
It does work. Oh. Wow, what an exciting stream.
It's a chill stream. It's a chill stream.
Now I feel educated.
Educated.
Never heard this one. Good one. I like it.
Educated, yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to blow the whistle on the final experiment. One of these guys got a crack and just say, "Yeah, we did it all. Half in studio, half out." But you know, if they get enough money, they're not going to say anything.
They ain't good, Sam. They ain't.
No.
I mean, you can see on them. You can see that they don't look well, but yeah, they won't crack. They'll just if they go to the cracking point, they'll just disappear. So they can't.
I'm sure there was NDA involved, and if they speak the beans, oh man, they go back. You know, they will be the big pile of shit.
Hello.
Hello.
Actually, on the runway, yeah.
Yeah.
Best argument that I always hear from the Globbers is like, yeah, ask the pilots. They always say the Earth is globe. I can give you a freaking video with the hundreds of pilots saying that no, and they've never seen the curve.
Yeah, but you know what happened to the first bunch that did it? They lost their license, lost their careers over the crap.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That's why.
Nobody's ever. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Private pilots are the best to interview. People that don't have to worry about that.
Can I take off yet? Okay. Okay, can I take off now?
Well, I mean, if a pilot thinks the Earth is flat, they should be fired. They shouldn't be allowed near a fucking airport.
Quick.
Wait.
It's a cockpit, yeah?
Flats.
Yeah.
Can I quickly share my screen before you go on with this?
Yeah.
A little animation of an equatorial mount that I got off the ASA website.
Official, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, fire show.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Am I sharing?
Yeah.
Right,
See? Just a rotation. Exactly what I'm saying. It just takes a rotation.
How does that prove a globe again?
No, they claim that is going. You see, they think that star they're tracking is physically going below their feet. Because they are.
It is.
How can we say this? Idiots.
I was going to say retarded, but yeah, that's cool.
I mean, if you look in the distance and you look at light poles, okay, they go from miles and miles. Do those light poles physically go into the ground?
No.
Guys, please never call Globbers retards, because you really insult retards.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
We don't want to be like a Woofy and insult people, or not intend to insult people with insulting people.
Wolfie, what the fuck?
Well, I want to point out something, guys. Look at this plane landing, okay? Now notice there's two different reference points here. This plane, which is on the so-called moving Earth, as they put it, and the plane coming down. Why is the plane not adjusting for Earth's rotation?
Because the Earth's not rotating, sir?
That's weird.
Seems quite a good landing, safe landing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the Earth was moving underneath it. When you get a little bit dodgy and a bit unstable, it's getting all over the place. You know?
But you don't understand inertial forces, PJ. It's just the inertia when you take off, you still retain that the whole time you're flying, and all the molecules in the air are bonded to the gravity in the Earth at the same time.
Wow, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Let's go. Woohoo. Okay, we're going to take off.
But the wheels didn't make contact with the ground anyway. It was the electrons.
Oh yeah. And you can put your hand through a wall if you had it.
See, there's the compass reading. Right? Yeah.
I wonder if they set their gyro before they took off.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Did they cage that gyro after they set it? I'm thinking they did too.
Yep. Remember, they're set. How do they know that? If they didn't do that, they wouldn't know which direction they're going. They wouldn't know what orientation their plane is flying at.
And that compass points north, doesn't it, for some odd reason?
That's not what the indicators are.
Well, they're independent from the gyro, but they rely on the gyro. Just ask Bob.
He's looking for the sunroof.
One of these buttons have to open the sunroof.
I had a Saturn with a sunroof, and my girls, when they were younger, they'd stand up inside the car and put their head out the top of it.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, come on, everybody has to have done that as a kid if you've got sunroof in the car.
Oh yeah, it's not exactly the safest thing, but I take them out to the canyon in Walnut Canyon down in next to the Grand Canyon and drive out in the woods. They'd have fun. No traffic. Yeah.
My dad had this station wagon, and we'd ride in the back of that station wagon. My brother, he'd be sticking his head out that back window and sticking his tongue out at cars and shit. And my dad, he went to roll that window up, and my brother realized that he started to pull his head halfway. He got it about right here, and that damn thing was sitting there going "Rrr, rrr," like that. My dad's like, "Why isn't this freaking window working? I'm gonna holler it back there so I can figure this out." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Nice. I just had a challenge for Whoopi to next time he goes for a flight, uncage his gyro before his altimeter, so he can make sure he gets horizontal proper. Just like Critical Think didn't calibrate the scales to get the right weight. It's insane, dude.
Oh, you're going to farm details. It's not important. Details.
Because the moon also casts.
Oh, there we go. Putting it on. There we go.
That looks like a real picture, doesn't it?
It is. It is a real picture. Taken from space.
Space. That looks like a emerging light rays there to me, from what I can tell.
Where's the sound go? Oh, I got it muted. What the frick? Oh, I could have swore I clicked that off. I must have turned it on. All right, my bad.
The Eratosthenes shadow experiment is used as a proof that the Earth but moonlight proves the exact same shadows as the sun, which completely disproves this experiment. But before going into more detail about this, I will briefly explain Eratosthenes' experiment for those who may not know about it or forgot what it was. Eratosthenes noticed that at the same time on Earth, shadows are at different lengths and angles depending on where you are on Earth. He then wondered how this was possible and ultimately deduced that this is only possible if the sun's light comes parallel to the Earth, and the Earth is a curved surface, as shown in the diagram. However, the sun's light can only be assumed to be parallel because the sun is claimed to be 109 times larger than the Earth. But this then creates a paradox, because the moon also casts the exact same shadows as the sun, and yet the moon is only supposed to be a quarter the size of the Earth. The problem is, if the moon's light is assumed to be parallel, then it would only illuminate a small portion of the Earth.
Why weren't them shadows blue?
Half of the Earth is supposed to be able to see the moon at any given time when the moon is illuminated, and so half of the Earth should also be illuminated by the moon. But by assuming parallel light from the moon, half of the Earth would not be illuminated by the moon. So the moon's light cannot be parallel, but it has to be if the sun's light is supposed to be parallel, because they both must create the same shadows. The only way that the sun and the moon can create the same shadows is if both lights act in the same way. And only the flat Earth model has both the sun and the moon illuminating the Earth in the same way. Both are radial lights that are smaller and closer to the Earth than in the globe model. So by also considering the light of the moon, only one model allows both the sun and the moon to cast the same shadows, the flat Earth model, while the globe model cannot account for them.
Ooh, 102 likes. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have to correct that guy. He shouldn't have used the word experiment. It definitely wasn't an experiment.
No, it's an observation. Absolutely.
I just
how they figured out the size and how far the sun is from Earth. How they figured it out? Did they fly over there? Did they check it? Did they check the distance in the flight? How they fucking did that? Ah, right, calculations.
Well, the calculations came first. Then we landed on the moon and we sent a probe to the sun. So we actually have done this. It's
Yeah, I remember the question. It was like a pretty nice, neat video. Yeah, I just watched the moon landing. Okay, but who is filming that? What do you mean? Who is filming that? If Armstrong is first on the moon, so who is filming him?
Well, it's a mechanical arm that did it, according to them. But the other thing is that in Australia, the girl watching the moon landing on a movie screen actually saw a Coke bottle roll across the set.
One of the guys said, it's like, oh, I've seen the moon landing. You didn't? What do you mean you didn't? I've seen it on TV. No, it was animation.
Oh.
And he said it, and later, no more video.
You're quoting
I think
Buzz.
it's still somewhere, possibly on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Good old Buzz.
I've just found this channel. I haven't watched it yet. Dark Element Films. It says expose the final experiment article. See what he says about the sun. Have you guys seen this yet before? I just found this. I don't
Never
know.
heard of it. Nice.
Yeah. Let's see.
Take a close look at this sequence.
Absolutely, Lisa. Abso-fucking-lutely. There.
And notice the area on the blue building. It moves clearly and consistently, as if the sun is shifting across the sky. Now shift
Yeah, it's shifting there, but it's not shifting here.
your attention to the small tripod shadow in the foreground. It doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
All fucking shadows are moving, dumb fucks. All of them.
He's right. All the others are moving, just not that tripod.
Yes, that one's moving too, stupid.
Is an undeniable contradiction. If the sun is positioned, as they say, 93 million miles away, is truly the light source, all shadows should move in unison and at the same rate, regardless of their position in the scene. But that's not what we see here. The aerial shadow changes direction, while the tripod shadow
Stays the
remains
same.
fixed. This suggests two entirely different light behaviors within the same scene, an impossibility under natural sunlight.
No, you're wrong.
The only plausible explanation is manipulation. Layers of footage may have been composited or digitally altered, but inconsistencies in shadow movement exposes the trickery. This is clear evidence that the footage is not authentic. The lighting and shadows in this scene defy the laws of nature, and no amount of excuses can reconcile these.
Defy the laws of nature. Nature. Dude. Dude, buy an R.
Blatant errors.
That's quite interesting. Why would that happen? Yeah, because you can see. I'm looking through all the shadows. All the shadows are changing, just not this tripod.
If one shadow moves,
Yes, that shadow's changing too.
all shadows should move.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that tripod's just too close to the light source for it. So
And as far as I'm concerned, you need one anomaly like that and write it all off.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Just one thing like that.
Image closely. Focus on the shadows cast by the two men in blue jackets near the center of the frame. Their shadows extend at a distinct angle, pointing slightly to the right. This angle suggests the sun is positioned high in the sky, directly above and slightly behind them.
What?
I found the video, guys. It's only like 30 seconds.
Okay.
You can watch it later.
Black
I
jackets
just
in
posted
the
it.
orange vehicle and the blue building that's on the right. Their shadows diverge at a completely different angle, as if the sun is positioned lower and farther to their left. This glaring inconsistency is impossible under a single distant light source like the sun. If the sun were truly 93 million miles away.
So, in other words, I don't understand how shadows work, so everything's wrong. Reality's a lie.
All the shadows would run parallel, no matter where the objects or individuals were positioned. Instead, these
They are running parallel.
varying
Can I get a
shadow
like and a
angles
subscribe?
reveal
Maybe
a
some
fatal
more.
flaw in this footage.
And I'll put it in for you. Okay, what's the video, Janusz?
Yeah, I posted. It's 26 seconds.
We just they're just losing their fucking minds over the fact that 8 people saw the sun.
Aldrin, just put this one. And people say believe it, They think
Hilarious.
they saw it. That they've seen the moon landing. They didn't. And he explains it in the perfect details. Very short, very nice and neat.
That's a legal name, passport,
Okay.
driver's license?
And I am Uncle Coney tonight.
Uncle Coney.
Let's talk about this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy
Yeah, I
memories.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for the moon landing, they had an animation because we didn't have any cameras on the moon to fucking film them landing for the first time ever. So,
And people still believe, yeah, I've seen moon landing.
That's true.
Well, that's a big trust me, bro. You know, we went to the moon.
The best, for me, the best way to figure it out if someone is NPC, non-playing character, or he really has intelligence. Ask someone about the thing which is not on.
It's like, I'm going to the bar. Do you have your hand stamp yet? No, I haven't been to the bar yet. Well, you should have your hand stamp, or else it proves that you aren't going to the bar.
The news on TV. Something happened recently, for example, and ask him about his opinion. He will have no opinion. Even if he can use common sense and figure it out, he will have no opinion. NPC.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess that's the stream. You guys have any closing statements?
I don't fucking even want to hear the closing statements. They're just beneath contempt. There's not an honest bone in their body. They're evil, fucking hateful, lying sacks of shit. Just horrible, horrible, bad people. Garbage humans. So thanks for watching, guys.